Rhonda, I know you're driving. Do you want me to share my screen with you? I think you're driving. I don't actually know that.
Good morning, William. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everybody?
Morning.
How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Good. Light crowd today. Where is everybody? Everybody's still sleeping this morning.
Sorry, I have a cold. I don't want to be on camera.
I'm sorry to hear that, Joelle. I hope you feel better.
Yeah, it's getting better. It's just my voice. I can't get it. I'm sleepy, so I apologize. I'll
Don't
leave my
apologize. It's okay.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
I'll give everybody a few more minutes. Have you guys been having a good sized crowd every day on Ignite? This is my first time teaching this go around here in March.
We've had about 30, 35 people.
Okay, good. Maybe everybody's just a little late this morning. Actually, I love the topic that we're going to be talking about today. Today we're going to be talking about a day in the life of a realtor. It's like this is the good stuff. It's one of my favorite topics. So I'm in our East Greenwich office today, and the coffee maker just is not working for some reason. So I was planning on a little cup of coffee. How are you guys liking Ignite so far?
Good. It's been very informative. A lot of information, but it's been very helpful.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And where are you all from? Are you from, I'm in Rhode Island. I'm the team leader at Keller Williams Coastal in Rhode Island. I know this is region wide. So where are you from?
Massachusetts.
You're Mass. Yep. Okay.
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, great. Okay. Terrific.
Hello, I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, hi, Polly. Nice to see you. Yes. Nice.
Sorry, my camera is not working.
That's okay. That's all right.
Nice to meet you as well.
Nice. Yeah, great to meet you. Anybody that can be on camera, I would absolutely love to see your faces this morning. So I'm not just talking to a bunch of names.
I'm out of Massachusetts too. I keep my camera off just because my Wi-Fi is kind of crummy, so it slows it down a lot when.
Got it. Nice to meet you, Jack. I know technology, right? I mean, we do have to kind of pivot and do what we can. I know sometimes in our office, if there's a lot of us on Zooms, that all of a sudden it does get a little bit, it gets a little bit fuzzy. So I will say in the event that I get bumped off for some reason, I believe I'm the only, when I looked on the sign up sheet, I believe that I'm all yours today. I don't know that I have any helpers here today yet. If I do get bumped off for some reason, I will be back in. So if for something happens and if I take down all of it, because I'm in the host Zoom account, please log back in. We'll just have to pivot through our internet stuff. We're gonna give it just a couple of more minutes because more of you are jumping in. Is everybody on here Are you newer agents, just licensed? Are you taking this as a refresher course? Tell me a little bit about where everybody is experience level.
I think we got about half and half. I'm about a month old.
Okay, great. How do you like real estate so far?
I love it. It's lots of fun.
Great. For those of you jumping on, good morning. I'm sorry, who just said something? Was it you, Noah?
I'm a new agent as well.
Great. And how do you like it so far?
I like it. I was very fortunate to help a family member right out of the gate. So I got a couple deals done right away, but now I'm in class just trying to get better.
Great. This is a great course for brand new agents, for agents just looking for a refresher. A lot of times there's a couple of agents from our market center that have been in the business for 10 or so years that will jump on just as a refresher, because these are all, these are the crux of our business, all of these topics that you're learning about through Ignite. And it's great to, revisit this from time to time. Don't feel like you only have to take it once. Is everybody familiar with the YouTube channel and where all of the recordings live for this series? No? Okay. So what I'll do is when we take a break, Maureen, I will put it in the chat. There is a YouTube channel. It's the New England region YouTube channel. Every one of these sessions is recorded. And we do Ignite every other month. So every other month we run the whole series. We start from the first day and run for the whole month. All of those sessions are on that YouTube channel. So you could always go back and watch one you missed. You could also go back to other months, because it may be that there was a different instructor teaching that topic that day. And so sometimes it's just good to get a little bit better perspective, because as the instructors, we kind of lend our experiences to it. So you may get something out of it with another instructor teaching it as well. We try to mix it up a little. I taught this topic last session, and I just absolutely really like this topic. So I saw it was open again. So I jumped on it again. Hey, Ian, how are you? Good to see you. I saw Emmanuel here as well. Good to see you, Emmanuel.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Awesome. Doing great. Doing great. How are you liking Ignite so far?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good. Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah.
Great, great, great. All right, about 9:03. I'm just going to give it 2 more minutes, because we likely won't even go. I think we might even get out a little early today. So I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes. Seems like everybody's a little slow to jump on this morning. Anybody have any questions from anything that you've learned so far? I mean, we are already, I think this is number 9 already. Any questions on any of the topics or anything that you want to go over from a previous session that you did? How are you all doing on keeping on adding contacts to your database on a daily, weekly basis? How's everybody doing with that? Okay, so? Yeah.
It's coming along slow.
Yeah. You have to get in your rhythm, and that's a lot about what we're going to talk about today. And today we're talking about a day in the life of a realtor, and we're going to talk about blocking your calendar and setting up your calendar and what your calendar should look like every day to make sure that those most important things are getting done. A lot of times we refer to those as your top 20% of your activities. 20% of your activities are going to yield 80% of your results. We also refer to them as big rocks as well. There is another class called the 6 Personal Perspectives. And the first time I heard the big rock story was I took that class. That is like a full day class. It goes through the 6 personal perspectives. It's if you do see it on the agenda, I know that we're going to be bringing it to our market center likely in May. Definitely take it because it's really good. But I'll start off with a little story about like big rocks, just because I love this story, and I heard it in 6 personal perspectives. We're going to talk today, like I said, a lot about our top 20%. What are the 20% of what are our 20% activities? Those are the most important activities that you have to get done in the day. Are you all familiar you're new to Keller Williams, but have you heard about the one thing? Have you heard anything in reference to the one thing? Not yet. Okay, so the one thing, it's actually a book written by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. And the one thing, we'll hear it, you'll hear Keller Williams agents and leadership say it all the time. And they'll say, what is your one thing? And what it is it's the one thing that you can do today that makes everything else easier or unnecessary. Right? So it's your big rock. What is that one thing you need to get done on a daily basis? For us as realtors and as sales people, that one thing is typically our lead generation, right? So if we get our lead generation done every single day, that's going to make everything else easier or unnecessary, because that's what's going to catapult and that's what's going to carry your business. So we also can talk about that as our big rocks. Those are those most important things that have to get done. So if you imagine a pile if you imagine a big cup, right? If you have a bucket or a cup, next to the cup, you have a pile of bigger rocks. Oh, great. Thank you, Ian, for popping that in. We have bigger rocks. Next to it, we have another pile of rocks that are a little smaller. Next to that, we have a pile of pebbles. And then next to that, there's a pile of sand. And so those big rocks are those must do things. Those are your top 20% activities that you must get done during the day. The smaller rocks are things that are very important for you to get done, yet they're not the most important thing, but they are also important. The pebbles those are things that, being on Facebook, being on, right, all of those sorts of things, right, that may need to get done. You still want to get those done during the day. They do have importance, right? The whole thing is all of the stuff we want to get it done every day. The sand is just all the filler, right? That's just all the stuff and all the filler. Well, if you take your bucket and if the first thing you do is put your big rocks in your bucket, okay, and I'm totally paraphrasing the story, but just in the essence of time, if you put those big rocks in your bucket first, then you're still going to have room to put some smaller rocks, and you can sprinkle in the rocks that are smaller because they're going to start to fill in some of the spaces around your big rocks. If you then pour your pebbles in, those pebbles are going to continue to fill in those holes and fill in the space. And then you can pour the sand over the top and it's going to completely fill up your bucket. On the flip side, if you start with the sand and you pour the sand in, the sand's going to just start to fill up the whole bucket and you're going to have very little room to then get your big rocks in there, to get the pebbles in there, right? So if you think of that analogy, if you get the big rocks done first, the rest of the stuff will follow. It'll all become much easier and it'll get done. If you start with even the pebbles, right? You put your pebbles in and maybe you pour a little sand in there, you throw a couple of the bigger rocks in, a little bit more sand. By the end of the day, there's going to be no room for your big rocks and you're not going to get them done. And those are the things that are most important. Does everybody on here? So we're going to get started. Welcome everybody. We have about 25 of you. I am Rhonda Messenborg. I am team leader at Keller Williams Coastal in Rhode Island. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today, and I appreciate you being here with me. I really want this to be interactive. So for those of you that can turn your cameras on, I would really, really appreciate it. So we're not just talking to a bunch of names. That would be terrific if you can put your cameras on for me. Also, I want this to be super, super interactive. So please, raise your hand or unmute yourself. We're a relatively small group here this morning, so feel free to just unmute yourself and join the conversation, ask questions. I want this to be completely interactive, so I'm just not talking at you for the next 3 hours. Does everybody have the manual? If you do, if you need a copy of the participant guide, okay, Ian, you need it? Okay, I'm gonna pop it. Give me 1 second here. I'm just gonna pop it in.
Thank you. I didn't print it out, so I do need it as well. Thank
Okay,
you.
yep, no problem at all. I think I may actually have a copy of the full. I think this is the full workbook for. Yeah, all right, I'm just going to give you guys a copy of the full workbook here. Let's see. So that's the full workbook. That actually is the student guide for everything. Okay, so you guys have it. Then you guys can follow along. I'm going to start our slideshow. Does anybody have any questions before we get going? I know some of you have rolled in the last couple of minutes. Anybody have any questions on anything you went over so far? If you do, raise your hand. Okay, great. I will put my contact information in the chat at some point this morning as well. So if you do have any questions, please feel free that you can also, I'm a point of contact for you. Definitely reach out if you have questions or if there's anything that you need. I'm happy to help in your business. I know you are all in amazing market centers. For anybody on here who maybe is still in the process of getting your license, welcome. If we have any guests on here from other companies, welcome. Please let me know if there's anything that I can do for you. Okay, so let's get going here. I'm going to bring up. Okay, let me just move this down. Great. Can you all see my screen? Yeah, great. Okay, so let's get going. So you have all seen this slide before. This is what successful real estate agents do every day. There's two categories in which we work on a daily basis. We work to grow our business, and then we also have to run our business. So on the grow side, we lead generate for buyers and sellers. We make listing presentations to get listings. We have buyer presentations to get buyers. And then also we preview real estate. So for a lot of you that are new, and you may not have any listings currently, absolutely on the weekend, go around and visit some open houses, right? Get to know the market, get to know the data, the inventory. There's not a lot of inventory out there currently. Things sell pretty quickly. However, if you just kind of pinpoint where you want to be, where you're doing business, and visit a couple open houses on the weekend, you're going to start to formulate what's for sale, what the features are, and what the price is, and you're going to start to formulate. Okay. Also, what that will do for you is, you may be someplace on the weekend, or you may find yourself in a situation where you're talking to somebody, and you might be able to lend in if they say, if you know that they live in that community where you're working, you could say, hey, you know what, I was just in 123 Main Street last week. It just came on the market. It's a great place. I love the kitchen. It went really fast. There was a lot of people there. They don't have to know they don't have to know that you weren't taking a buyer through there. But if you're just talking about the activities and being in the game of real estate, it's all of a sudden going to boost you up as an expert of your craft. So definitely get used to it. The other thing that does for you is it also allows you to meet other agents. So that way, when you do have a showing and maybe you come across that agent who's hosting the open house, you're going to start to build relationships, because every transaction has two sides, as we know. And in most cases, you're going to be working with another agent. And most times it's not going to be somebody from your company. It's going to be somebody from a different company, and we have to work together. And so we also have to build those relationships with agents in other brokerages. So there's a lot of benefits to getting out there and previewing real estate. Pre-COVID, every town did a caravan, where typically it would be like the second Tuesday or the third Thursday. There would be like 6 to 8 houses on the caravan, and agents would come together and tour those 8 houses. It was a great way to know what inventory was coming on and what inventory was on the market. And again, to start building relationships agent to agent. They haven't been happening. They stopped due to COVID. They haven't started up yet, because typically if something comes on the market, it's sold within a matter of days. So by the time the caravan comes around, it's no longer available. However, as the market continues its shift and it changes a little bit, be on the lookout for those types of activities. On the other side, we have activities in which we run our business. So we market listings, we show houses, we negotiate contracts, we do transaction management to get our transactions to the closing table. We have vendor relationships. You're going to have preferred lenders and attorneys. Those are important relationships to maintain, because that is also a referral source for you. Setting your goals, right? That is part of running your business, not growing your business. Setting your goals is running your business. Growing your business is doing the lead generation to hit those goals. You have to do compliance, making sure your paperwork is all in order. And just as you are doing today, you have to attend training and get coaching. Let me move my bar here because it's on the last thing. And most importantly, number 9, right? The reason that we do this is for you to earn a living, is you have to manage your money. Yes, Joelle.
So the link that's in the chat is for the book. I think people were looking for the workbook. The thing that's in the chat is for the one thing. So
Was it the last? Is there a big file in there? It was actually a
No.
PDF file.
no, it's a link. The one that's above is
So this should say
you
ignite
have to copy
underscore.
it?
Did it not come through? Ignite 2022 full workbook. Does everybody see that?
No.
No?
Yes, it's there.
Oh, it is? I don't see it.
Yeah, if you scroll up a little more, you'll see it.
Yeah, I got
the
it
one at
too.
the top, you have to copy and paste.
I'm
Is that
gonna
what
do it. I'm gonna post it again because if you
It's
joined
like a PDF
after-
file and you just click download.
No.
Yeah,
it's
if
not
you click
coming
on
up.
it once, I'm gonna put it in there right now again. It's in there again. Okay.
It's coming up broken for me.
It's coming up broken. Has anybody else opened it? Yeah, okay.
All right.
Um,
I can get it otherwise. It's all right. I was just thinking of others.
Okay,
Are you talking about the workbook that you put in the chat? I was able to open it.
okay. Okay, if anybody is not able to open it, well, I'll make sure that I get a copy over to you. That's just the full, so that has every single session, and I figured it was easier than going out and finding than just today's. So for many of you who are just starting your business here in real estate, who is already working towards managing their money and already thinking about or working off of a profit and loss statement? Can I have a show of hands of anybody that is doing that? Nobody? Okay, that's one thing I would love for Ashley. Ashley, you don't see the workbook?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I only see a link to Amazon. Is that the workbook?
Nope, there should be a PDF that I just uploaded there. It should be right above your message. I just posted it again. You don't see that?
No, I
So
don't see
weird.
it either.
It's very weird. All right, hold on here. Hold on one second. Let me see what I can do.
I have it.
Okay. So for some of you, you're able to get it, and for others, you're not able to get it. Did you get it in your email? Are you guys getting the workbooks in your email daily from the region?
No,
No.
no.
All right, hold on a moment. Let me, because I have it.
But I have it now. At least it does work. The link works. Thank you.
Okay. I'm also going to, this is the workbook here. Is this, let me just do this. Everybody just hold on one moment here. Just bear with me. Student resources. We're in Spark. This is, where is number 9? 7.3, number 9. Okay, this is it here. Let me just make a copy of it. And then
While
I
you're
can-
working on that, I was just curious to know if the caravans get announced at your market centers. You think that they do?
So typically, if you are whatever board you're part of, if you go onto the board website, the board in the calendar, they will have those caravans in the calendar.
The boards.
Some of
Okay.
the market centers, some of the market centers absolutely may do that. They may post them in there, yet,
Makes sense more that the board would do it than the market.
yeah.
center. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is let me just let me share this. I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna do restricted. We're just gonna do anyone with the link can see it. I'm gonna copy the link. And I'm gonna put it, where are we? I'm gonna say done here. I'm gonna go back there. I'm gonna stop, where's my chat? See if that works for you guys.
Yeah, I just received that. Thank you so much.
Okay, yep, you betcha. You're very welcome. Okay, so I'm just going to go back and touch on the managed money part. So I'm going to ask all of you to really, as you are starting your career here in real estate, you are running your business, you're business owners. So make sure that you're treating your real estate business like a business, and make sure that you have a P&L, a profit and a loss statement. And it can be something very simple. You could take an Excel spreadsheet. So far, to get your real estate license, you have put money out, right? You've paid for your classes, your test, you've paid for your license itself, you've paid for your board dues. For all of you in Keller Williams or in other companies, there are fees associated with your company as far as maybe a monthly fee, maybe there was a sign-on fee, maybe you're paying for E&O insurance. Track all of those in Excel spreadsheets so you know what your expenses are. And then as you start to do business, track also, in the tab next to it, what your income is. So that way, on a monthly basis, you're tracking what money you have coming in and what money you have going out, so that way you can see what your profit and what your loss is. Okay, it's very important to do that because you want to make sure that you are keeping your expenses in check, even in the beginning, of running your business. It's going to take you a while to build business, so it's going to feel like more money is going out than coming in. I mean, that's the nature of real estate, because even on day one, once you put something under contract, it's going to be 45 to 60 days before you get paid, because that's the life of the transaction. So, you have to plan for that. But as you start building in months over time, you just want to make sure that you just keep, you know what your business is doing. You don't want to turn I'm just not even going to look at it, right? Many of us, that's like uncomfortable territory. So we just say, you know what, I'm just not going to look at it. Look at it every month, go over it and say, what expenses did I have that month? There may be a class that you really want to take that, many of our classes, there's no charge. There are some things that there are a charge for, and it might be something where you might want to save up for it, or something you might want to take. Look at your P&L and say, okay, can I afford to do this month? If not, I'm going to look at it and I'm going to do it. I'm going to plan for it next month when I know I have a couple of closings happening. Okay. If you are constantly looking at your business as a business, that is what is going to grow a healthy business for you. And if you're setting your goals, for all of our new agents, most of you may be working with a mentor through the productivity program of your market center. Make sure that you sat down with somebody and you set your goals with somebody, and you know how much money you want to bring into your household through your real estate activities. And then we're going to create a map for you that's going to say, okay, if that is how much money you want to bring in, using your area's average price, average commission, we're going to be able to work out how many transactions you have to do in order to reach that goal. And from how many transactions, we're going to know how many transactions closed to how many transactions have to go under contract, because not everything closes all the time, right? Transactions fall apart. It's the nature of the business. So you have to plan for that. So if you want to have X number of closings, you're going to have X plus number of transactions under contract, which means you're going to have X plus number of listings and buyer agreements that you're working on, which means you're going to have X plus number of contacts that you're making. So we're going to build this plan for you that's going to say, you know what, in order to reach that goal, you need to have this many appointments on a monthly basis. And that's going to trickle down. And sometimes you might have a goal that feels really big and unattainable, but yet when you break it down like that and you see, well, you just have to have 3 appointments a month, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that sounds attainable. I can do that. So great. So how many for your lead gen time, how many people do you need to get in front of in order for you, using statistics, to be able to set that number of appointments, to set that number of agreements, to set that number of contracts? Okay. So we're going to help you build that. Has anybody done their 411 yet, and their GPS? Does anybody know what those are? Yep. Great. That's great. Trisha, does anybody not know? And if you don't know that, this is total safe space. So does anybody have you not heard of GPS or 411 yet? If you're not on camera, just, raise your hand with your icon. Yeah, everybody knows?
No,
done.
I have not.
No.
I have not.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, great.
I'm driving, so.
That's okay, Polly, no worries. Please keep your hands on the wheel. No worries. So your GPS, so once you set your goals for the year, once you know how much money you want to bring into your household, and we get down to that, this is the number of appointments that you need to set every week. So this is the number of people you need to talk to every week. Your GPS and your 411 is going to support that. So your GPS, that stands for goals, priorities, and strategies. Okay, your GPS. So you have, it's also referred to as a 135 here in Keller Williams lingo. So you might hear somebody say, "What did you do your 135?" Or you might hear somebody say, "Did you do your GPS?" Okay, so
Yeah, I have heard of the 135. Okay, that's what, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the G is the 1. That stands for goal. What is your goal, right? Your goal is going to be that monetary, or maybe it's going to be, I want this number of listings this year. And you can use this in personal too. It doesn't have to just do with business. A GPS, you can have a personal GPS as well. And we all probably should. So the G or the 1 is your goal. What is your goal for the year? The P stands for priorities. Okay, and that goes with the 3. So what 3 priorities do you have to have in order to reach your goal, right? So your priorities will be maybe what systems you need to get into place, right? Your priorities may be your lead gen time. So what priorities? And then the S correlates to the 5, and those are strategies. So for every priority you have, what are your 5 strategies? So for my lead gen, that's my priority. What 5 strategies am I going to employ for for my lead gen? Well, it might be I'm gonna call for sale by owners or expireds. I'm going to call my database. I'm going to send out X number of note cards on a monthly basis. Okay, so whatever the strategies are, the tactics, those are the things that you're actually doing that support that priority, that's going to support that goal. So that's your GPS or your 135. The 411 correlates with that because the 411 is your monthly map. So again, in the 411, it's going to go backwards. The last one is your goal. So it's going to be the same goal in your GPS, right? What is that one goal? The next one is the month. Okay, this is going to be your monthly plan. So that's your 1 month. So for my goal, we're in March right now, right? Or maybe we can look into April. So for my goal, my yearly goal, I'm in the month of April. So what is my goal for April? What do I need to get done in April that's going to support that goal for me to get to that end game? And then the 4 is 4 weeks. So what do I then need? So you're going to map out, what am I doing on a weekly basis? So what am I doing every week that supports what I'm going to get done in the month? And what I'm going to get done in the month is going to support that one goal. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And you should fill these out you should have your GPS, fill that out in the beginning of the year. And then your 411, you should fill that out every single month. And that way, you know, if you're on track, because if you hit April and you're already off track from March, then you can start making some changes. But if we don't ever look at our goals and see where we are, we get to October and then we're like, oh my gosh, I'm really far behind and I'm just not going to have enough time to make it to the end of the year. So it's really good to always be on top of your goals. And this is part of what we're talking about today, a day in the life, because these are things this is like working on your business and making sure that you're setting your goals and then you're also working towards them on a weekly basis.
May I interrupt?
Please.
You know, you're probably the 6th person to talk about it in this sort of, well, you know, you set your goal and, you know, you just do it and you get your meetings and you get your sales and it's like, I'm not trying to degrade or downgrade what you're saying, but I mean, it's such an incredibly hard nut, especially in this market. I mean, I could say, well, I'm going to meet with 4 people and then next month I'll have 4, you know, meetings. And then in 3 months I'll have 4 closings. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm dreaming or something. It's just not going to happen. I'm not trying to be negative, but I'm being more realistic. So
Yeah,
don't-
and I totally appreciate that. I totally appreciate your candor, Stephen. You know, absolutely. And you know what? And some days it is hard, and sometimes it does feel really hard. And we are in this market right now where it is, you know, listings are hard to come by. We are at the lowest inventory, I think, maybe ever, or at least in my lifetime of real estate. I've been doing this since 2007. You know, and so, yeah. And so some days it absolutely feels like that. And the important thing is to always though be in motion and always be in activity, because yes, there may be some days, and, you know, and listen, I have a coach myself, and I talk about this weekly with my coach, because I have my goals as a team leader as well as to how many agents that I need to talk to on a weekly basis. We all have our goals. And absolutely. And there's some weeks I'm like, I didn't get an appointment this week, right? I need to have an appointment and I just didn't get one. I talked to all these people and for whatever reason, and that's going to happen. But yet it's, if you're consistent, you might not set an appointment today, you might not set an appointment next week, but then as you get going and as long as you stay on it and as long as you're consistent with it, the law of numbers is going to be on your side. And eventually maybe you're going to set 4 appointments in one day, or you're going to set, right? So the important
Right.
thing is
You don't catch fish unless your line's in the water. I get that. I get that. But you're not closing on a Newport mansion every other month either, you know?
You're not, very few agents are closing on a Newport mansion every other month. Absolutely. So, you know, so that's why it's important to be, to be diversified. There's some agents that only sell Newport mansions, you know, yet they've probably been in the business a long time and they probably have a lot of, there's a lot that goes into it, right? They probably have some connections and all of those. But yeah, right. It's staying within, and building in the ways that you want. And just always being on top of what your goals are and what activities are going to support those goals to get you there, right? For anything. And that is not just in business, it's in personal as well. And just chipping away, you know, towards. And I mean, I always like the phrase, and I say this a lot for myself personally, is everything works and nothing doesn't. And sometimes you have to find the sweet spot of what works for you, because we're all different and we're all going to lead generate differently, and different things are going to work for us. Because if you do something that is not true to who you are and you're not passionate about it, it's not going to flow well, right? And it actually could be that you're just not doing the right activity for you in order to get results. Like for me personally, I had a coach a few years back. I was not in leadership at the time. And this coach was like, I think you should go door knock. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm not a door. I don't want, like, that's something that's just not comfortable to me. And he said, no, I really think you should go. And I want you to go and door knock. And I was like, okay, my coach told me to do it. So I'm like, I'm coachable. I'm going to go door knock. I just sold a house in this neighborhood in Westerly, Rhode Island. I'm like, I'm going to go around door knock, let them all know what I sold it for.Maybe I'm going to get another listing. Somebody's going to talk to me. When I tell you I was so uncomfortable, I felt like a stalker walking through that neighborhood. I mean, I think I probably slinked up to people's doors. I was like, right. I barely anybody, they probably looked out the window and was like, who is this person standing out there? It just was not my thing. Yet there's other agents out there that door knocking is their number one source of lead gen. They love it. They do it. They're passionate about it. They can knock on the door, get anybody to talk to them. So it's also trying to find, as for those of you that are new agents here, is finding out what do you like to do? How do you like to communicate with people? And then just be consistent with it. That's how you just have to start. Just be consistent with it.
Is door knocking legal in every location in New England?
Okay, that I don't know, but that I don't know. So you would probably want, if you are going to go door knocking, you could always just call the town and verify. I will tell you a really quick story. And then we're gonna get back on the slides about door knocking. If anybody is interested in doing that, this was given down to me. So it does not come from me, because as I just said, I'm not a door knocker, but yet it is a really great way to door knock. Is you pull into the person's driveway, leave your car running, do not go in, and you go into every driveway. Like my mistake was I parked my car down the street and I was like walking around the neighborhood, right? Like, like a vacuum salesperson, right? Then nobody wants to answer the door. In this instance, the person that told me this said, pull into every single driveway, pull in with your car, leave your car running, leave your door open, get out of the car, leave the car on and leave the door open. So when the person looks out the window, they know you're just there to drop something off. You are not staying because your car is not turned off. They like, oh, right. Maybe they think they're getting flowers or something. You go up and you knock on the door, right? If you have like a little bag of information, hey, you may or may not know their names. Hey, I'm Rhonda Messenborg with Keller Williams Coastal. I just wanted to let you know that the house just closed down the street. I have a little information for you. I know everybody in the neighborhood's always interested in what the house sold for and what it can do for their property value. So I'm just going to leave this information for you. I would love the opportunity to talk with you if you or anyone you know is thinking of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Give them your business card. If you have a little tchotchke gift to give them, give it to them. Exit left. Right?
You got it down pat.
Right? Yeah. Super simple. Right? So, and that's just comes with practice. And trust me, Stephen, I haven't done that because I actually never did it, but I love the scenario of it. I can say that script on the phone to anybody, but that it just comes.
Sounds like you've done it before many times.
Right. Yeah. Yes. So, but I mean, that is a great way. If I had known that when I was back in sales, I probably would have given door knocking another shot. It's also a great thing to do if you're hosting an open house for somebody. As new agents, you can always ask another agent, hey, do you want me to host an open house for you? It's a great way to pick up buyers that are not represented the day before the open house. Absolutely. Just take a little drive. If it's in a little cul-de-sac neighborhood or something, like winding streets, absolutely do it. Go over and give them an open house flyer and say, hey, I'm Rhonda Messenborg with Keller Williams Coastal. I just wanted to let you know we're hosting an open house over at 123 Main Street on Saturday. Would love for you to pop by. I'm going to give you the information in case you know somebody who's looking to move in this area. Properties are selling really fast. So I'd love to just give you a little leg up. That's when our first showings are. Here's my business card. If you have additional questions, please reach out to me. I'd be happy to answer the questions before the open house.
Can I ask a quick question? And I know, I'm Massachusetts and Rhode Island licensed. How far do you go where it's comfortable to a listing or a lead or like somebody said they were headed out past Worcester from the Boston area, and I'm thinking, that can be tricky, or do you go to, how about you? Do you go to Newport? Like, I'm just, what do you think?
Yeah. Yes. So, I mean, I live in Charlestown, Rhode Island, and I sell real estate all over the state of Rhode Island because Rhode Island's that big. So I also am licensed in Connecticut. I'm originally from Connecticut. I will also serve Southeastern Connecticut. I typically will go within an hour. I'll go anywhere in Rhode Island. In Connecticut, I will go as far as an hour out. Because you also want to just make sure, but everybody's different, Stephen. It is a total preference. There are some agents that really just become experts in like one or two areas, and that's where they're experts. I have just always chosen, I've always loved that part of real estate where you get to learn about different communities that you may otherwise never, ever know about. And like I said, Rhode Island is pretty tiny. I've always used, aside from Rhode Island, I would go an hour out for a listing. But you also have to take in stride that if you do take a listing, these days, if you take a listing an hour out, you're likely going to do one open house and you're going to sell it as long as you have it priced correctly. Back a couple of years ago, you may be going back and forth to that house multiple times, in the course of a week. And then it starts to maybe not be the best use of your time because it's likely taking away from your lead gen and building your business in other aspects. So this market is different. You may take listings in this market because of how quickly they'll sell and the small amount of time you're going to have to spend traveling back and forth. As the market flattens out a little bit, that may change for you. Yes,
especially with fuel costs.
I just with the door knocking story, I had read a news article and like current events from the Bangor Daily News. I'm up in Maine out of the Portland Market Center.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Uh-huh.
There's a story where the inventory is so low that there's an agent that has a confirmed buyer that's willing to pay $2 million in Cape Elizabeth. So they're going door to door knocking, trying to find a listing because it's location sensitive. So
Mhm.
then the article is just about the extreme lengths that real estate agents
Yeah.
will go through to find the buyer what they're looking for. So it seems relatable.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Ian.
I also had a question about door knocking and maybe things that you could generate leads with. Would it be worth, I was thinking about this the other day, would it be worth to actually like do CMAs on a bunch of different types of houses in a bunch of different neighborhoods, like spend like a week doing it and do as many as you possibly can, and then go around to those neighborhoods and knock on the doors and offer them a CMA? Could you do that? I mean, would it be worth the time? Because I think a lot of people would be interested. Like, it's a seller's market and you show them what their house is currently worth. They might be like, holy crap, I didn't realize that. But it would be a lot of time to do all those CMAs, though. I just don't know if it would be worth it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're doing them in, if you're doing it in a capacity around neighborhood, they're actually at the New England Mastermind last week. That was at Mohegan Sun. There was a couple of agents at our office meeting yesterday. We kind of highlighted nuggets from some of the agents that had attended. There was a listings breakout on Tuesday last week. And that was actually one of the tactics that the person presenting spoke about, is that I think that I don't remember the number that she did, but she went back into her contacts and she ended up generating CMAs for them and spent that time, just like you're saying, Ian, and sent them out. And she ended up like getting, I think, like $9 million volume in business just by sending out whatever number it was that she sent out. And it was completely unsolicited and just like that, saying, hey, just to let you know. And I mean, and you can do that in a neighborhood. There was a story a few years ago about, a lot of consumers, they're hooked on the Zestimate, the Zillow Zestimate, right? Which means like, it's not even a real word. It doesn't mean anything, but people are fixated on that number. And there were agents that were pulling the Zillow Zestimate and sending them something saying, I know your Zestimate says this, but your house is actually worth this. Give me a call and let's talk about it. So absolutely, this is the time for out of the box thinking as far as how do you get in front of sellers and buyers? Because right now, as we're sitting here right now, there are tons of people who right now are saying, you know what, honey, I wonder if we should sell the house, or saying, you know what, I'm thinking maybe it's time for me to put the house on the market. The market's pretty hot right now. And our job as realtors is just to find those people, right? And so like, that's how you have to think of your lead gen, is there's people thinking it right now. So do you want to be the person talking to them, or do you want the other person who's actually doing their lead gen to be the right? It's just timing sometimes. And sometimes people are going to say like, you know what, it's so funny you called me, because I was just thinking last night that it might be time for us to sell this house and maybe purchase another one. Or we were just thinking, you know what, it's about time for us to go down to and retire in Florida. And you know what, we are thinking of putting our house on the market. And that's all. You just want that opportunity to ask the questions, to say, are you thinking right now of buying, selling, or investing? And you just want somebody to raise their hand and say, you know what, I am. Great. I would absolutely love the opportunity just to talk with you a little bit about your home, right? I don't want to talk and tell you all the great things about me and how I want to sit down and talk with you about your home, your goals, where you want to go, and see if there's some way that I can help you.
Right. I mean, obviously I'm new to the whole process, but do you think it would be worth the effort? I mean, I don't really know how long it takes to do a CMA of all raised ranches in X neighborhood or whatever. I mean, how fast can you do that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, as you get more and more practice, you'll do it more and more quickly. We actually had a class on it the other day on doing a CMA, and we're going to be doing it again. So I mean, you could with Carl. Yep. Did you go?
Yeah, I'm going to one tomorrow as well. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, as the first time you do something, it's going to take you a while.
Yeah.
But then as you get in, you don't have to do a full blown, take you 2 hours. You could really, it's just, you want to give them a general light. You just want to get them curious, right? You just want to, using the MLS to get the data, pulling sales data, I mean, obviously, if you don't see the inside of the house, it's not going to be exact, but yet you can speak in general terms to get them curious enough for you to go in there and have a sit down with them. It's a great idea. It is a great idea.
I can't count the number of cards that I get in the mail from
Right?
realtors. It's incredible that say,
Yeah.
oh, your home's worth this much, and please, contact me if you're interested. It's like every other week I'm getting a card from a realtor.
Yeah. Yeah. So try to just do something a little bit different than just giving them the card. Our team last year, we sent out this time of the year, it's spring, is we went through our database, our past clients, and we sent a handwritten card with a little pack of seeds in it, a little pack of wildflower seeds in it, or daisies or something. We got like 3 listings just from doing that. And people that said, oh my God, I got your thing in the mail. You know what? We were just thinking about it and I want you to come by. Or somebody said, hey, you know what, Rhonda, thanks so much for the seeds. By the way, my neighbor is thinking of selling. And so I gave him your phone number and I think you should go talk to them. So it just like generates people to kind of think of you as they're in their day-to-day. Ian?
But you can't, like if they're people that you don't know and it's just random, you can't be leaving it in their mailbox.
You totally can. If there's a neighborhood that you're specifically like pick a neighborhood that you really want to, it's called farming. And so a lot of agents will pick a neighborhood, right? Because it's like sometimes it's not going to be a one and done, right? We did this with people that already knew us because they were past clients of ours. If like, say it's your neighborhood, right? Where everybody lives, if you live, well, I mean, we all have neighbors. So pick a radius of your neighbors to really focus on. And yeah, and it's going to take more than one time. So maybe that's a great place to, do a walkabout and say, hey, I'm your neighbor. I live here in the neighborhood. I just wanted to give you my card. I don't know if I'm in real estate. Would love to help you if you're thinking of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Then you send them a little card, here's some seeds, whatever ideas you want to come up with. The more and more they see your face and they see you, then all of it's just getting them at that right time. Sending them something of value. You could do the CMAs for around for your neighbors, Ian. That would be a great place to start.
Right. I'm curious about the rules with mailboxes though, in like neighborhoods that you don't know anybody and
you're not supposed to put anything. You can't put anything in the mailbox. You're not
between
you're
the
not
flag and the mailbox, maybe.
I usually put stuff on the flag.
Right.
I
Okay.
can't say that I check to see if that is allowable or not. I mean, sometimes so maybe you just kind of, so you could even just prop it up at the bottom. You know what I mean? You just can kind of prop it up behind it so it's resting on it. So that way you can get these neat little, and we're getting a little off topic here, so I'm going to get us back on, but they have like these cool little bags that are probably the size of my iPad. Like they're like an 8.5 by 11. You can get them super inexpensive. They come in every color under the sun. They're waterproof and they have a little handle on them. You can slip in a couple papers, your business card, prop it up right on the back of the, or you can go put it on the door. Don't put it on the mailbox, go and hang it on their door, right? They call them door hangers. So you can do that as well with your information in it. You can do it in that facet. Again, pull in the driveway, leave your door open, leave your car running and go pop it on their door. If at first you don't want to knock on it, baby steps are cool. Okay, good. All right, let's, before I get fired from ever teaching Ignite again, I'm gonna get us back on track. All righty, great conversation. So a quote here from FM Alexander: people do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. And that's exactly what we're talking about. Just being in habit every day, being in action every day, and being consistent every day. So let's talk about, we were talking about, blocking our calendar. So what are the key activities that we need to have on our calendar? So this is a great example of a calendar. If you get up, this person's starting at 8 to 8:30, right? To start building your motivation. You may use this time to do like script practice, right? Grab a script partner. I have a script partner. grab a script partner that you're talking on the phone with, maybe for 15 minutes, just kind of bouncing things off of each other. You should always practice those conversations on each other, not practice them out on consumers. So that way, if somebody throws in, have some fun with it, like throw a crazy objection at somebody. That's how we learn. And, see how you handle it, see how you can get around it. Script practice, some people are like, oh, I don't like to do that. You can make it super, super fun and kind of make a big game out of it to see who can really stump the other person. Really hone that skill. Also, one thing that in real estate, things get busy super quickly. A lot of times we have many transactions going on at once as you build your business. Plus you're trying to grow your business. You're trying to do those activities. You're doing your marketing yourself. You're right. So we can get pulled in a lot of directions. For me personally, I have gotten myself in the habit of all of a sudden I find myself working 7 days a week. I find myself getting up at 5 a.m. and sitting at my computer and working until I go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. Right? You don't want to get in those are not good habits to get into. And what will change those around is being in the right motivation and making sure that you are honoring your business time. And when you are in business mode, you are working on business, but also honoring your family time. And when that time comes, that you are not working in business and that you are setting expectations with your clients and with yourself to make sure that you are not giving away your family time. And take it from me, because I did it for a long time, and I don't allow myself to do that any longer. And one of the things that has helped me along the way because a lot of times, like, as you find yourself getting up, there's so much to do. Like you're not even out of bed yet, and you're already thinking of all the things you didn't get to yesterday and all the things you have to get to today and all the things that need to get done by the end of the week. And so you get up and you're already in motion, you're already running. One thing that has helped me a lot, and it goes into this motivation building time, is to start your day every day just thinking of 3 things that you are grateful for that happened in the last 24 hours. And by doing that, and then maybe looking at some affirmations, there's a great app called, it's just called Journal. I have it on my iPad. And the app, it kind of prompts you, and it says, what three things, or what are you grateful for? And then it'll say, what are you going to do to make today great? So you can kind of say, I'm going to set 2 appointments today, or I'm going to reach out to 20 people today. I'm going to have 10 conversations today. I'm going to have dinner with my family today. That's what's going to make today great. And then it'll say, well, great. It'll have you put down some affirmations as well, right? And affirmations can be anything. I actually have an app for affirmations as well. And I scroll through those, and the ones that really ring to me, those are the ones that I put in that section in the morning. But an affirmation can be as simple as, I'm a powerful person, right? I'm a good person. I serve my clients on a very high level every single day, right? Your affirmation can be anything that you want it to be. But if you start your day off like that, even before that motivation building time, it's going to start your day coming from, you're not going to be in chaos. You're going to start your day in a nice, even note. And then do your half an hour of motivation building time. Get a script practice partner, practice your scripts, right? Look at your calendar and determine, okay, where am I going today? What do I need to do? So your calendar is top of mind. Who do I really want to talk to today to help serve their real estate needs?
May I say a couple things?
Please.
As I just wanted to bring up, we have a mission statement. I'm pretty sure it's Keller Williams' mission statement that says, the order of life is putting God first, family second, and business third. Mm-hmm. So with that model, you're only bound to succeed. I don't know how many people even know that that's a mission statement for Keller Williams, but it's pretty powerful. And the other thing was that if anyone's heard of Earl Nightingale and The Strangest Secret, that's an incredibly powerful tool. Have you heard of him? Yeah. Yep. I actually listened to tapped into exactly what you're talking about right here. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's, it's manifesting in yourself what you're looking for. And absolutely, if you, if you ask the universe, if
you put it out there of what you want, it's going to come to you. And that's that practice of just sitting down in the mornings and taking the time to do that. I think that's exactly right. And you will, and like I said, I mean, I'm somebody who, I worked all the time, like all the time. And I turned it around finally, because I finally, I'm going to say, came to my senses like last fall, where I said, what am I doing? Right. And it just, it sets it kind of just sets it off on a whole different tone. And it really, because this is all about, as you were saying, Stephen, this is not, it's not an easy business. And, you know, you're out there right now, the market's tough and we're all looking for business and whatnot. It's important to stay in the right mindset. It's important to come from contribution as you're building your business, and doing those things and being grateful and being, and also honoring yourself. If any of you also talking about, you know, great books is the 4 Agreements as well. And you have to honor yourself, right? Because you have to, you know, you're the most important person. You have to believe in yourself right here. And you can all do it. And for all of the agents, for all of you on here who you're just starting off in your business, right? Every successful agent out there, every agent out there who is hitting all of their goals, both in business and personally, you know, those agents they all sat here in Ignite one day. If they're with Keller Williams, I mean, even if you're not in Keller Williams, you always come to Ignite. But at one point they all sat here with no business and saying, how am I going to build my real estate career? So if they can do it, you can do it. I'm a firm believer in that. So looking back at this, so 8 to 8:30, your motivation building time. From 8:30 to 11:30, that's your daily success habits. That's where you're doing your lead gen. Do your lead gen for a couple of hours and then spend the last half an hour just following up with those that maybe you talked to the other, you know, last week, or you know, you go back and you follow up through emails. You don't have to only make phone calls. Lead generation can be anything and everything that you want. As we said, what can you be consistent with? You can send emails, you can send text messages, you can send Facebook, you know, jump on Facebook, send direct messages in Facebook, right? Hey, Stephen, congratulations on getting your new puppy. I just wanted to shoot you a quick note. I hope everything else is well with you. I enjoy staying connected with you on Facebook. Hey, just wanted to let you know, I just got my real estate license. If there's anybody, if you or anybody you know is buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I would love the opportunity to sit down and help you. Right? Just send some direct messages out. An agent in my office and I were having lunch a few months back, and we were talking about lead generation, and we were talking about how it's the one thing as agents that we always let slide off of our calendar, and what's an easy way for us to get our lead gen done. And we came up with this thing just between the two of us. It's probably, I'm sure it was invented long before us, but as we were sitting there, we called it 5 to Thrive. And for your lead gen time, it was sending it was making 5 phone calls a day. So 5 phone calls, pick 5 people in your database and call them, or pick 5 new people that you don't know and call them. Send 5 note cards in the mail with your business, right? Handwritten notes. It doesn't always have to be about real estate, right? It can also be, you know, hey, Kevin, hope all is well with you and the family. So glad that spring is here. Wishing you a wonderful spring season. Here's a little pack of seeds, whatever you'd like. Just if you put your business card in it, they know you're in real estate. Jumping on Facebook and just putting 5 meaningful comments on somebody's page. Again, it doesn't have to be about real estate, and meaningful, not just liking their post or saying cool or awesome, but really kind of adding some value, or really adding a nice sentiment to it. Sending 5 emails. Ian, maybe it's sending out 5 CMAs in an email that day. Those are the 5 emails you're sending. And then doing 5 text messages. One thing I personally love about text messages is I like kind of up the ante a little bit, and not just send a text message, as I send a video. So I record a video of myself saying, hey, Christopher, it's Rhonda. How are you? It's been a while since we chatted. I was sitting at my desk and you came across my mind. I decided to stop everything and video this, you know, create a quick little video just to say hello. Would love to grab coffee with you and see how things are going. Simply reply, let me know when you're free next week. Let's get it on the calendar. It's all right. It's all you have to do. And I do that all the time, and people will be like, oh my God, I love that. I love that you just sent a little video. It gets their attention rather than and you can just send a regular text as well, but get comfortable doing videos. The first couple of times you're going to be like, oh my God, I look like a complete dork. You're going to record it 13,000 times. If you just stay with it after a while, I sometimes trip over my words and I just keep moving because really at the end of the day, it's, that's how I talk anyways, right? We all like, we're kind of like, oh, that's what I sound like. Yes, that is what you sound like. You're like, you just hear your voice differently in your head, but yes, that's how everybody hears you. So just send the video and get comfortable doing it. Okay, so then next, don't forget to give yourself lunchtime. All right, give yourself lunch. There was an agent at our office meeting yesterday, and she was saying, she was actually talking about this sort of calendar, which we were talking about this exact same thing. She brought up a great point. She said, I do not eat lunch at my computer. I step away from my computer for half an hour. I make myself lunch and I give myself a mental break. So either way, 12 to 2:30, right? That's when you're going to do the run part of your business, run your business activities, right? Do you get your marketing done? Maybe get your social media posts done. Anybody that you have to get back to, if you're in the middle of negotiating something, you have to return a phone call, 12:30 to 2:30, that's the time that you can do that. 2:30 to 4:30, that's where you're going to grow your business, right? Jump on the MLS, see what came on the market today, see what went under contract today, see what sold today. Right? This is where you can, Ian, create those CMAs. It says create seller presentations. That's exactly what it's talking about, right? And then that's when you set your meetings up. It is okay to, when you are on the phone with somebody, to say, listen, if somebody says, yes, I was just thinking of selling my house. I would love to meet with you. Great. Can you meet with me at 2:30 on Tuesday, or would 4 o'clock on Thursday be better for you? Right? Sometimes it's not written in stone. Sometimes they might say, listen, 8:30 is the only time I can meet. Okay, great. Make a one-off and then move everything on here, right? That's the rule about your calendar. If you have to move it, if you have to erase the activity, you have to replace it someplace else. So if you're meeting with somebody at 8:30 that day, then you make sure that those daily success habits are happening between 2:30 or 4:30 that day. Okay, if you have to move things around, but don't make it a rule so that your calendar is all over the place. Make it that absolutely has to be an exception. 4:30 to 5:30, review your calendar for tomorrow, make your success list. You can probably just do that in a half an hour, honestly. And then, 5:30 to 9:30, family time. The times may not be exact, but all of these, but you can see where you can build your calendar and you can get all of those things done on a daily basis. Now, again, things are going to change, of course, right? Things are, there's going to be a day where you're like, I'm in Ignite from 9 to 12 today, right? That's what I'm doing today. So everything has to get shifted, but that's going to be an exception. It's not always, just don't make sure it's not always the rule that you're just flying by the seat of your pants. For my calendar, what I do in my calendar is I actually block my calendar with all of these blocks. For my appointments, I run appointments typically between 1 and 4. And what I do is I actually create appointments from 1 to 2, from 2 to 3, from 3 to 4. So they're in my calendar. I color code my calendar based on the activity. When I'm setting appointments and I have those blocks in my calendar, I make them light green. And when I fill in the block with an appointment, I turn it dark green. So it'll say on my calendar appointment from 1 to 2, it's light green, meaning it's an empty, that I don't have an appointment at that time yet. If I set an appointment with William in that spot, I go back in and I edit the calendar entry. I put William's name in there, his contact information, where the meeting's going to be. A lot of times I will invite the person. I say, great, can you just give me your email? Because I'm gonna do a calendar entry so that way you have it as well and it's on your calendar. And then I turn it on mine dark green. So then when I look at my calendar, I'm like, oh, I have an appointment today. That's dark green. That's an actual appointment. Okay, you can get the system that works for you. Yet by, absolutely, if somebody else is doing something, jump on it. There's something that we talk about in real estate. It's called R&D, and it means rip off and duplicate. Right, the wheel has already been created by many agents before you, and agents share. So take it and just run with it. Don't try to recreate it. Let me just check to see. Green for cash. Yep. Exactly. Okay, so we already talked about this earlier. This is the Keller Williams 411 action goal sheet. I think I have this template somewhere. It might be actually in your toolkits. I'll put a link to the toolkit on the in the chat as well. But this is basically what it looks like. Some people use an Excel spreadsheet. It doesn't matter what you use. But this is your annual goal. There's your 1 monthly goal, and then your week 1, 2, 3, 4 for your 411. So this is what my story with the big rocks was earlier, committing to the 80-20 principle. Okay, the 80-20 principle, 20% of your effort, which is your big rocks, is going to yield 80% of your results. Any questions on that? If you're at Keller Williams, you'll hear us talk about this all the time. Our leadership team we talk about this all the time. We talk about everybody, even in leadership, right? We talk about what are your big rocks? What is your 20% that you need to get done? And if you get those done consistently every day, you are going to be well on your way to getting everything else done and to hitting your goals. So setting your objectives and translating your weekly goals into daily objectives. I just heard something yesterday. Has anybody heard about SMART goals? Has anybody heard the term SMART goals?
Smart plans, but not smart goals. No.
Okay, yeah, right. SMART plans. Yes, we're all about SMART plans here. So SMART goals. So it actually is almost like this, only the first, hold on, I'm actually going to find it for us because I just learned about this yesterday, and it is this circle here, but the acronyms are a little bit different. So I'm going to just give me 1 minute because we're going to find it. Okay.
SMART goals are measurable and attainable and reasonable.
Exactly. So if you see here, can you guys see my screen still? Or do you still see the PowerPoint?
I see it.
You see it? Okay. So the SMART goals, and then we'll go back to the circle in the slideshow. But if you think of the acronym SMART when you are setting your goals, so the S stands for specific. Okay, so set real numbers, real deadlines. Okay, be specific with what goals you want. Like how much money do you want to make? Make sure your goals are very specific. Make sure that they're measurable. So make sure that you are able to measure and track and know whether or not you are hitting your goal. Make sure that they're attainable, right? Don't set goals that are so far, right? It's great to set big goals, but you also want to make sure that you're setting attainable goals, because if you are always in the practice of setting really, really big goals, and then you're not reaching your goals, that starts to weigh on you a little bit, and it becomes a mindset thing, right? So you want to make sure that the goal is actually going to be attainable. Make sure it's realistic. Be honest with yourself that you know what you or your team are capable of. And then make sure that there's and then they're time bound. So make sure that you have a deadline on your, right? So if you're setting your goals for the year, right? In that example, so be specific. I want to make X, I want to make $100,000 from my real estate activities this year after my expenses before taxes. In Keller Williams land, we always talk about when we set your goals on your economic worksheet, that number is what do you want to bring into your family after expenses and before taxes. Okay, make sure that it's measurable. Make sure that you know whether or not you're getting to what your goal is. Make sure it's attainable and realistic. And then make sure that there's a deadline on it. So in the example here on the slideshow, they say make sure they're identifiable, they're metric driven, which is measurable, make sure they're attainable, I do love the word purposeful. Make sure that your goals are purposeful and then timely. So just a different way of saying it. But using that test when you are setting your goals. And if you haven't set your goals yet, definitely seek out either your team leader can help you with your goals. If you have a productivity program in your market center, you're the productivity coach, or your launch director, or your mentor. If you're working with a mentor, have that conversation with them and say, hey, I'd like to sit down and I really like to set my goals for this year. Going further into the big rocks, this is kind of exactly what we're talking about with the time blocking of your calendar. Like we just said, make sure you block your calendar. Make sure you block your calendar, and then make sure you look at your calendar. Because sometimes we block it, we set our calendar up all nice, and we never look at the calendar again, right? And then after a while, you just start, you're not honoring your calendar one little bit because it's just kind of, it's like noise to you. So every morning, right, when you get up, the first thing that you do during that motivation time, or maybe it's right before it, is just look at your calendar, look at what you have going on today, where do you need to be, and what do you need to be doing? How do you need to honor your calendar? You'll also hear, people will say, if it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist, right? So really, your calendar is one of your most important tools in your tool belt, is your calendar. And if you have to erase it, replace it. So if you have to erase your lead gen today, because I mean, life happens, something personal came up. If you have to erase it, replace it at someplace else, right? Even if you're so busy right today, because say you had, say a buyer came in from Boston and wants to look at property in your area, and they want to look at, I mean, it'd be nice if there was 9 homes on the market to look at, but let's just say, like back in the day, they wanted to look at 9 homes, and you're going to be out with them for 6 hours driving them around looking at houses. It used to happen all the time, right? Well, there goes my lead gen time, because I'm meeting them at 9 o'clock and I'm going to be with them until 3 o'clock, right? That's the day that I got to do something for lead gen. That's the good day to jump on Facebook and just, send out, 10 Facebook direct messages to somebody, right? Just do it in some fashion. Ian, do you have your hand up?
No.
Okay, sorry. I can only see how, because of where my screen is. So I just want to make sure I wasn't missing anything. So that's where maybe a mass email comes in. Another tool that I'll tell you guys about is, has anybody heard of Gmass before? Gmass is one of my all-time favorite tools. Another team leader told me about it. It is a game changer. So what Gmass does, it's Gmass, GMASS.co. That is the website. You cannot get there from Safari. You have to do it in Chrome. And it is an extension that connects to your Gmail. And for, our Keller Williams email accounts are a Gmail account. So you log in, to go on the web and log into your Keller Williams Gmail account. And if you have Gmass, the extension installed, it's going to pop up and it's going to ask you to sign in with your Gmail account. So you sign in and it will connect to your Gmail. You can create a Google Sheet. So it also connects to your Google Sheets, because also with your Google Suite through Keller Williams, you have your Google Drive, right? You have that, is everybody familiar with the, with the dots? I'm going to show you.
Meatballs.
The meatballs, right? Everybody's familiar with the meatballs.
Snowmen, waffles, and
Yeah, exactly, right. So when you click on those,
and hamburger.
You can go to your Google Drive, right? You can go to your Google Sheets. You can go. So I personally use Google Docs, Google Sheets. I mean, this presentation is in Google Slides. Like we are big Google here. You could create a spreadsheet in Google Sheets, and you can have a database of emails in there. So as you are meeting people on the phone, as you are adding people into your database, make sure, don't be afraid to ask them for all of their contact information, including their email address. Make sure you have their home address, make sure you have their phone number, make sure you have their email address. Do not be afraid to ask for those things. And all you have to say is, if you're talking to, I don't know, Mr. Smith, great, Mr. Smith, I just like to get a little bit more information for you so that way I have all of your contact information. Do you mind sharing your email address with me? Do you mind sharing? Great. And what is the best number to reach you? I know I'm talking to you on your home phone right now. Is there a cell phone number that I can add for you as well? Okay, as much contact information you get. So you can have this database of email addresses, and in your Gmail that is now connected to Gmass, at the top of it, it's going to have like a little, there's like a little, it looks like a spreadsheet. You click on it and you're going to connect whatever Google sheet you want to send emails to. Okay. The most important thing is make sure you have a first name in there and you have email address. It'll connect that spreadsheet right to a new message, and it'll say, okay, you're sending this to 50 people. Great. You type out your email. Within the email, you can pull in the fields. So if you have first name in there, you could say hi, and then you do the little squiggle line. It'll give you the list of fields that are in your spreadsheet. Hi, first name. So all your emails will be addressed personally. Type out your email. Down at the bottom, there'll be a Gmass button that you can then click. It'll send an individual email to all 50 of those people individualized. So it'll say, hi, Maureen, hi, Chris, hi, Ian, hi, Jack, right? It's not going to be like just, hey, hi. It's going to be individualized to them. It's also going to put an individual email in your sent folder for each one of those that you send. It's actually going to send an individual email to everybody. It's a great way to hit a lot of people and have them personalized. And you can send, I want to say for the free version, you can send, I think it's like 50 emails a day within a 24-hour period. You can time them. So if you're doing this at 11 o'clock at night, you don't really want to send it at 11. You can go in under the settings, and you can go in and say, I want to send this at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want to set it 3 hour, whatever it is. You can also add an unsubscribe button, which is very important these days for us. So you can just click on the little unsubscribe link, and at the bottom, it'll say, click here to unsubscribe from these emails. And then as you use Gmass again and again, it will never send to that person again. It'll save them on your personal do not email list. You want to make sure, even in email, we talk about the do not call list here a lot, because you don't ever want to be in violation of it. It is very, very expensive, those fines. It also does go to text messaging, and it goes to email. So if somebody does respond to you ever and says, please don't send me any more messages, make sure you're keeping a spreadsheet of that.
I have a question.
Sure.
So how is this? I'm looking at it and it seems a lot like Command. Are there any benefits to it? Like, is it easier to use with your personal email so you don't have to transfer them? Is that the
for Gmass? You talking about Gmass?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like to use it because one thing in Command that I've noticed so far is that, like, you can't, so I send a lot of videos. I do a lot with video. So for me, if I'm sending out an invitation, say for agents to come to one of our mastermind events, a lot of times I'll record a video, I'll upload the video to my YouTube channel, and then I'll put an image in the email of my video with a link on it. So like, that's how I find the advantages are. And then people can just respond back directly. It doesn't look like a mass email that went out, right? So sometimes in the like command mail is great, and Command is great, and it's always getting more and more robust. Yet right at the moment, you can't send pictures, and so it's just a text email. So with Gmass being attached to it, you can, your emails can have pictures in it. It can be a little bit more like what you would typically send to somebody.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's it was a game changer for me, and it's like one of my favorite all-time tools. Okay, let's go back to
quick
Yep,
question on that.
Sure.
So if you do have a Google Suite, how do you do that? Where do you get it? Is there like a tutorial somewhere?
hold on, let me get to, where's my desktop in here? Okay, nope, that's not what I want. Let's go to. I want to share my, let me just share my screen here. Right here. Whoop. What happened? I don't want to do the whiteboard. I just want to do. Okay, maybe I just want to be in Google Chrome here. Okay, so if I go into, there's the meatballs. If I go into my Gmail account. Okay, so once you put the Gmass in, every time you go on the web into your Gmail account, this is what's going to happen. It's going to say your browser isn't connected, please reconnect. So you're just going to say sign up with Google. It's just going to reconnect your account. Allow, so you might have to do that. I have to do, it seems like I have to do this every time. It says success, close the window. It'll also say, it'll also prompt you, they will give you, it'll give you a tutorial. I usually just click outside of it. Okay, so now when I'm in my window, this button right here, this is, it'll say right under it, connect to an email list in Google Sheets. So if you just click on that button, it will go out, it'll give you all of your Google Sheets. Okay, so you can just go in and you can just, I don't know, do like whatever. I was working on this. I don't know if emails are even in the sheet. I don't think so. But then you can go in and you can pull, you can also, if you have different sheets, in that workbook. So if it's an Excel spreadsheet or a Google sheet that has many tabs on it, you can go pick the tab you want. So you might have somebody, you might have it all parsed out. There was no email addresses in that list. So here it says 0, but if say there was 50 or whatever, it would say 50 recipients, and this is what it looks like. So here, let me get rid of that. You can, type out what your subject is, and then here you start to type your email message. So I'm doing the shift with the little squiggle, the little like squiggle thing, and you'll see it will put whatever. That's the field that's in there. Put it in there, then you can type your, you keep typing your message, blah, 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 blah. A lot of times it will actually hide your send button because it wants you to use the Gmass button, because that's like, if you just hit the send button, it's gonna send it nowhere. So you want to make sure you're only using the Gmass button if you're using Gmass. So a lot of times it will actually hide the send button so you don't make a mistake and hit send. If you go on this little pull down, this is where the settings are. This is where the unsubscribe list is. You want to click that. So that way it ends up set. All you do is just click out of there, and you can see, sometimes you have to move it down to where it needs to go. Just by clicking on it, it'll just put that you may unsubscribe to stop receiving our emails. You want to make sure you have that in every one. If you go under schedule, this is where you can schedule it to go whenever you want. Okay, you can say set a custom, whatever, that gives you some options. And then once you're ready to do it, you just click out, then you just hit Gmass. It'll schedule it if you're scheduling, or it'll send it if you're sending it. Simple.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And then you can add in, you can insert a photo, whatever. You can, you have all the features that you have in Gmail. It's a great tool. And I think, yeah.
Real quick, you got out. It's fine. I'll figure it out. I just missed it real quick on the unsubscribe, how you would add that on.
Oh, when you go into the settings, it'll say it right there. It'll say add unsubscribe link. Just click on it. It'll pop it right in for you. Super, super easy.
Which settings on your Gmail? Like on the banner on the top of the Gmail, or within the email?
It'll be right within that email window where the Gmass is. There's a little arrow pull down on the Gmass button. That's where the Gmass settings are.
Oh, great.
And and when you install it, it'll walk you through. It'll definitely walk you through that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay. Let's get back on it here. Let's see, we're going to take a break in a few moments as well. Okay, come on. I need you to go away. Thank you. All right. Okay, so Accountability. Let's talk a little bit about accountability, because I mean, that is a very major factor in what, you know, everybody needs accountability. And accountability can come in many forms. You can have an accountability partner among agents. You know, you can create your tribe, practice scripts, be accountability partners. You can have a coach, have accountability through a coach or through your mentor. You can have accountability through your partner, through your spouse. You can have accountability just through somebody that, you know, is a, you know, maybe not in real estate and in your company, but is maybe a business mentor to you. But everybody needs, you know, accountability, because that is what is going to keep us to our goals. We need somebody saying to us, Ian, how'd you do on setting your, on your goals this week? Did you hit your goals? No, you know what? I had a really off week. Okay, let's talk about it. What set you off? How do we get you back on track? Let's strategize together. Because if nobody's ever asking if you set your goals, we give ourselves a lot of leeway. We're human beings, right? We just start to give ourselves a little bit of leeway. I have a coach, and every week we talk about how I'm doing, how am I hitting my goals, where my roadblocks are, what my challenges are, and how I'm going to overcome them and get back on track again. Right? So don't be afraid of accountability, right? And make sure it's somebody that, and make sure that if it is a coach or whomever it is, you know, make sure also, because we are all different, right? We are all different people, and different things make us, you know, make us thrive, and other things make us shut down. So if you're the type of person, has anybody heard of the DISC assessment? Has anybody done like a DISC assessment where you may have heard in Keller Williams, we talk about this a lot as well. We talk about somebody being a D, a high D. Has anybody heard that term before? Oh, so-and-so is a high D or a high I. Yeah,
Yes,
no.
the personality and
exactly, it's a personality. Yes, right. There's 4 different personality types. There's a D, which is a driver. There's the I. What does the I stand for? That's I am a high I. Then there's an S and a C. It's the DISC, right? If you haven't taken it, it really is a great tool for you to learn a little bit about yourself and just how you tick. Also, there's a great book out there called The Personalities Handbook as well, because everybody fits in one of these categories just based on their personality. And if you are somebody who is a high D, and then you're working with somebody who is an I, they work differently. Right? I'm a very amicable, I'm very outgoing, right? Whereas a D or a driver is very right? Typically you can tell in like text messages. If you're a high D, if you're a driver, you know, you are to the point. Like your texts are to the point, 2 words, yes, no, right? If you are an I like me, like every text is flowery with lots of smiley faces and hearts and all that, right? So it just different personalities. So you want to make sure that whoever is holding you accountable also appreciates that personality type. Because if you're like me, if I'm an I, and if I have a coach who only wants to know about my numbers, and it's just kind of boom, 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 like that, that doesn't work for me. Yet somebody who is in that personality type, that's what they want, right? They just want to get, yes, I hit my goals. No, this is why, this is what I need help with, right? Whereas I want to kind of talk about my feelings. Right? So you want to make sure, so don't be afraid if you are whoever is holding you accountable, to make sure, and a good coach is going to ask you, right? How do you want to be held accountable? Right? Do you want me to be like do you want to just like talk about numbers, or do you want to like, what is important to you, and how do you work? How do you tick? And make sure that, because that's what's going to pull it out of you, right?
what's the company again? I forget.
So you can do it through, when we take a quick break, I will put the link on it. You can do it through Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins has a version of the DISC assessment.
Yeah, no, my market manager did it for me, but he didn't use Tony Robbins one. I forget which, because I have all the results. I'm just curious to know. I can't find it in my emails. He emailed them.
Oh, what the company was. There's also the Abelson group, which I think might be the one that Keller Williams uses. It's ABELSON.
Abelson. That doesn't ring a bell, but okay, thank you very much. I don't-
Yeah, you're welcome. But you can, there is one, and and you can always go take another one. It's free of charge. You just go to Tony Robbins. If you search for Tony Robbins DISC, DISC, personality, you can do that. Also, Keller Williams has anybody done a KPA through Keller Williams?
I have. It is so on point.
It's amazing, right? It's it is absolutely
It
amazing
is.
that and Ian, so anybody in our market center here, Ian and Emmanuel, if you guys have not done that yet, I will send you a link to that for the KPA. So it's just the Keller Williams came up with it's the Keller personality assessment. What it does is it will ask you, it takes about 45 minutes. It asks you a bunch of different, you have like a bunch of different kind of, it's almost like not a quiz, but kind of, it's going to ask you to put things together. You're going to answer these questions and be like, I don't know what this has to do with anything. I don't know what has to do with anything at all. Some of them are completely like putting shapes of blocks and you're like, what? But yet when the results come back and you read your assessment back again, like you said, Polly, you're like, wow, how did those questions actually kind of totally get all of this right down into words? And what it does is it highlights the way you react, the way you think, the way you interact, right? And it's not about strengths or weaknesses. It's not about that. Neither is the DISC test. It's just about your personality. And if you get to understand your personality, and then you also, as you talk to people, like I said, we talk about the DISC a lot here, and you will hear it so many times, and you will start to understand the different traits that go into each one of those personality types. And what it does is it allows you to communicate. It allows you to communicate better, because if you're talking to somebody if you're talking to a client who is a very high D, and you are like me, you are an I, that person can just become impatient with you, right? Because they don't have time for your flowery stories. They really just want to know the nuts and the bolts of what you're trying to tell them, right? They're like the people that are like, yeah, come on, get to the point, yeah, right? Whereas a high might be taking the long road and painting the picture, right? And neither of them is wrong, right? Neither of them is wrong, but yet in business, when you are talking to somebody, you want to understand what personality type that they are coming from, and you want to match it. You want to make sure that you are communicating with them on where they want to be communicated with. And that is something that will just help drive your business forward, because you're going to build rapport with people a lot easier that way.
If you did the Keller Williams test, where would the results be? I haven't seen them in.
So typically the results will get sent to the person that sent it to you. So you would, and the reason for that is because there is a validation that goes along with that. So typically what happens if you do the KPA is the person that sent it to you, you want them to validate it with you. And so what they'll do is they'll send you your results, and then you'll set a time to talk, and you'll go through section by section, and they'll say, okay, read this. Does that sound like you? Do you agree? Because you may not agree with everything. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how does that fit you? Oh, you know what? That is like spot on. Like that's a 10. That's exactly the way that right? Or sometimes I'd say it's an 8 out of 10 because of this, right? It's not always exactly right. So the validation of it, you want to go through that process, because that is what really starts to help you to understand how you think, and also to start to understand how you interact with others.
So that information isn't available anymore, correct?
Say that again.
The results that we went over with my market manager, those results are not available anymore?
Yeah, they can resend send your results to you. Absolutely. Yeah, they just, yeah.
Thank you.
Just ask them for sure. Yep, you can get a copy of those. Okay, let's see, where am I going here? Looking, there we go. Okay, so accountability. So when you're creating your plan for accountability, and you have your accountability partner, whether it's a coach, whether it's a peer, whether it's, right, who a mentor, So the first thing that you want to do if you're going to set a plan is share your goals, right? So your accountability partner or your coach, they need to know what your goals are. What are your long-term, medium-term, short-term goals, right? Not only what are your goals like for this year for selling real estate, what are your 5-year goals? What are your 3-year goals? Right? And to really make you think about the path that you are going on, right? Then plan your check-ins. How often do you want to meet? Do you want to meet once a week? Do you want to meet every other week? And what's the method of communication? Is it going to be a phone call? Are we going to meet in person? Are we going to meet over Zoom? Right? Get it on your calendar. Make sure it's on your calendar so that you're both honoring that. Right? Make sure that you have that date. So that way you know where you're checking in and you're both there, and make sure you honor that appointment. Okay. We're going to take a break in a few moments, but up until, I know we talked about a lot of things. I don't think we got too far off track, because I think pretty much everything we were talking about was pretty on, on the agenda. So I would love to hear from you guys. Ahas, anything today completely like blow your mind?
I like how you had the calendar scheduling your day. That's going to be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Gmass. Thank you for that.
Yeah, Gmass is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Gmass. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Again, somebody sent it to me. I just shared it on. Share it on to somebody else. Time blocking, Linda said. Yeah, absolutely. Time blocking is so important. It really is. It's really one of the most important things you can do in your business is block your calendar and honor it, right? Because you can get it all done during the day. As realtors, sometimes we end up having the tendency of just kind of being all over the place. I always use the term flying by the seat of my pants. You can ask our team administrator that, yes, that sometimes that is me. But it's not a good thing. And you really got to hone it in and make sure that you have, I put everything on my calendar, and it really just helps you to stay true to form.
And I like the erase and replace thing, because I've always felt as if, like, I erase something and then I never put it back, just because I didn't have that thought in my head. I just thought, I never thought about putting it back on the calendar.
That's right.
Which is funny to me that I never did that. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, and do it right at the time. If you're looking at your calendar when you're setting an appointment with somebody and you're looking at your calendar, and it might sound like completely like obvious, yet, like I say this for myself as well, because I do this countless times where I will say to somebody will say, hey, how about Thursday at 1, right? And that's one of my appointment slots. And I'll say, yeah, Thursday at 1 is great. And I'm not even looking at my calendar. And then I get off the phone and I go to put it in there and I'm like, oh, geez, now I have another appointment or I have a doctor's appointment at that time, because that was the only time my doctor could get in. Right. So you got to call the person back and go, oh, I got to move. So, and then you can replay. And if you do that, if you actually are looking at your calendar when you're setting the appointment and you say, oh, they want to meet me right during lead gen. Okay. Where on my calendar can I replace that to? And you do it right then and say, great, I can meet you at that time. Move that lead gen down to a different block, rearrange your calendar right then and there. So you get it done, right? Now, obviously, if something extra comes up, right, you might just not have enough hours in the day for everything, but make sure you're taking off an 80% activity off of your calendar if that needs to fall off for the day. And just make sure that you are not taking the 20% of activities off that you have to. Right? That's the priority. So if you're like, well, I have my checking emails and following up with, at the end of the day. Yeah, you follow at what do you say? Like the magic is in the follow-up. Absolutely. Absolutely. But don't be like, well, I'm going to do my follow-up and I'm not going to do my lead gen today. Right? Because you can double down on follow-up tomorrow if you have to. Right? Or while you're driving home. Like I loved I use my car time to be like, okay, who do I need to talk to? Who do I need to follow up with today? And a lot of times as my phone is ringing, like as you get busier and you build your business, like your phone is going to be always ringing, text messages, right? And you're like, okay, I'm like trying to get stuff done. And it seems like the world is blowing up around you because you now have all these messages on here. Use your car time to follow up. right? Text somebody back and say, I'm so sorry I missed you. I'm in an appointment right now. They don't need to know that you're in your lead gen time. Your lead gen time is an appointment with yourself. It is an appointment. So don't be afraid to say, oh, I'm so sorry. I can't do 10 o'clock because I'm in an appointment at that time. You just happen to be in a lead gen appointment with yourself. Okay. Don't like honor yourself and honor your own appointments with you. I can give you a ring back at, listen, I'm going to be in the car around 3 o'clock. I can give you a ring back at 3 o'clock. Right? If you have 3 appointments or you have 2 appointments that day and you have travel time in between, plan that to make your phone calls and follow up with people. And don't be afraid to put it in your calendar. So if you know that you missed the phone call with Joe Smith now, and you're like, Joe, I'm so sorry I missed you. I'm in an appointment. Hey, can I give you a ring back at 3 o'clock? Yes, 3 o'clock is fine. Great. Put it in your calendar. 3 o'clock, I'm calling Joe Smith. Make sure notifications are on so that way it pops up 10 minutes before so you don't forget. Love that. Linda, I set alarms an hour prior for a reminder if you have the day booked and lots to do. Absolutely. Reminders are, sometimes we all need reminders, and there's going to be, listen, there's sometimes we're human beings and sometimes you might miss something, you apologize and move on, right? Listen, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I got tied up and I'm so sorry that I missed that. I was supposed to call you at 3. Is still now an okay time? If not, when is your next most convenient time? And let's connect. All right. Any extra thoughts? I want to give you guys a break. It's 10:41. I'm going to give you guys like a 15-minute break and we'll come back and then we'll wrap up. And I'll go through and make sure we didn't miss anything today. Good? All right. See you in 15.
Bye.
All right, guys. I think I gave us a couple extra minutes here. Everybody have a nice break.
You're on mute.
Oh, jeez. Am I? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
I can hear you
awesome.
too.
I was on mute. Sorry.
Oh. So I popped a couple things into the chat. I popped in my contact information, and I also popped in just the different DISC personality types that we were talking about with the definitions of them. On Tony, if you go to tonyrobbins.com, you can take the assessment through there. That page was down for maintenance, so I did not include the link yet. If you just go to his site, you will see the button to take the assessment if you wanted to. All right, great. So let's jump back in here. We don't have very much more to cover. So let me bring up the part of my facilitator guide here. So I think we pretty much went right to the end of the content. I'm going to just talk a little bit more just about the goals, the daily habits that that you have been talking about in Ignite every time. As far as adding 10 contacts a day, having 10 conversations a day. They say 10 handwritten notes. I think this is per week, not per day. Let me back up. 10 contacts added per day, 10 conversations, 10 handwritten notes, and 10 previews per week. Some of those are probably per day. 10 contacts added and 10 conversations. I also like the 5 to Thrive that we talked about. So you can also break it down that way as well, if you wanted to, right? So 5 text or video messages, 5 emails, 5 phone calls, 5 Facebook interactions, and 5 handwritten notes. So how do you all feel about, in the time that we have left, I can probably get us out a little bit early. How do you guys feel about, since we do have some time, doing a couple of conversations / scripts from the script book? Does everybody have the script book handy? For anybody that needs it, let me just grab it for us.
Is there a specific page of the script book you're referencing?
Yeah, we'll pick one out. We're gonna pick one out together. Let me just go find it. I might have it already. Let's see. See what I have. Fire one. Nope, I don't. It's not it. Let me just find it here.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
I think some of you may have heard one of my concerns is, I left Keller Williams for a long time and I never really, now that I'm back, I want to get back on this scheduling. My schedule's all over the place and my son keeps telling me I'm always working.
Okay.
And the problem is that I also have another business. I flip for a living. And I also work with investors who I'm training them to flip.
Okay.
And so it's like, I know I have to do a modified schedule. Obviously, I have to figure this out. But I just want to and then there's also like your own self time, because I'm a parent, but I'm a foster parent. I have custody of my niece and my nephew. So it's almost like me too. I'm going through a divorce, this is real life, right? And so I'm just trying to figure out, like, what are some people doing? Because I guess I just have to be satisfied just to get back on rhythm with maybe 1 hour of lead time, or like I have to figure this out. And there's like all these urgent things with taxes, I have to get a new accountant because there's a lot of things that I think are happening to me at the same time. And I have not gotten in the rhythm.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And I feel really bad every time I get on the Ignite. I'm like, my goodness, I haven't added any names. I'm just calling whatever. I'm not doing the L and P or the A and J, whatever letters, and so it's like, is anybody else going through this?
I think everybody is in some fashion. Yes, right? Because life happens.
I'm going through the same thing. I'm taking care of
Thank you,
everything.
Linda, because I thought it was just
No,
me. I'm just going crazy.
And I can't keep it. It's hard because what I do is I will follow the schedule, but unfortunately, I'm a single mom, 2 kids, sports, dividing me all over the place with the 2 boys. And I take care of my mom. She has dementia, so I have to take care of her too. So it's hard. So to be honest with you, I have tried to do the time blocking. It's just, I'll be honest with you, when I can, I can. It's super hard. It is, because you can't determine what's going to happen at a certain moment, especially when you're caring for, others. So
Yeah. Yep.
but I've tried to just open up the schedule a little bit more. So instead of, quitting myself at 5, I extend my day, unfortunately, till like 7. And what I do is when it's my son's games, I have my calendar and I will put the time that I have for his games, because at the end of the day, my kids come first. Outside of work, yes, I have to provide, but I don't want to miss those moments. So I try to put a time to take care of my mom, and then put a time to do this. And I'm not even gonna lie, I time myself. I got this amount of time for my mom. I gotta feed her. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Okay, I'll do that within an hour and a half. So I've had to learn to make it work.
That's amazing, Linda. And
You're
kudos.
amazing. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, and God bless for everything that you're doing for your mom. And I want to just remind who said it? Stephen, was it you? Who reminded us what our values are here, right? At Keller Williams. It's God, family, and then business. And business is the last one on that list. And you have to take self-care into context, and you also have to take care of your family. Absolutely. And you're going to set your goals accordingly.
That's for sure.
Yeah, and you're right. And so Daisy, one thing that just popped into my mind is, like, with your flipping business, your lead gen could handle both of those, right? Because you could be also lead genning for flips. That can be part of your lead gen time, right? So to bringing, you can kind of combine those businesses and that lead time together. And Linda, absolutely, you alter your schedule a little bit so that way it fits in. And maybe, right, like we said, lead gen incorporates many things. So maybe your lead gen time is concentrating on things that you can do a lot of in one bulk thing, like a big email campaign going out. Or, there are programs out there that will, text message, right, for you, and text message a group of individuals at one time. So maybe for you, it's figuring out how to streamline your lead gen to be able to get to more people in a more mass way.
I've been pretty successful with social media. I'm constantly, like my coach says, just keep it going. Every single day I post at least twice a day, 3 times a day. And I've gotten a lot of feedback coming from just my social media itself. And then I'll be honest with you, I can be somewhere and I have my cell phone. This is the best device you can have. And I end up just messengering people, just random friends. Hey, how are you? How you doing? And just to have conversation, because unfortunately time is limited. So I utilize my time, like you said, even in the car when I'm driving. I'm watching some of the videos that I've missed, and I'll just put it on in my car while I'm driving and moving from appointment to appointment.
That's not safe. You guys on the road at all times, please.
No. Listening. I still go
okay,
back.
good. Okay,
right now, I'll take this one and I'll refresh it by just playing it in the car.
Love it.
Because sometimes you miss stuff. You do.
No, I love it.
Like what happened when we first started talking on this Zoom. We'll forget sometimes if we don't jot it.
That's right. You're absolutely right. That's the other thing I will put in there, the link to the YouTube channel as well. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, using card time and, utilizing that time where you can get it done. Sometimes you definitely, getting creative is okay, right? Social media is something you can do in off hours, right? Obviously, like making phone calls, sending text messages, you want to do those during the day. Like I get up at like 5:30, 5:45, 6-ish, and that's usually when I'm like, oh, that's like when you start thinking about the people that you want to message back, or, shortly thereafter, and you're like, oh, it's like 6:45, probably too early to text that person. Right, write it down so you don't forget later. But something on social media, you can jump on social media at that time while you're having your coffee, and you can send direct messages and all that stuff. Like it's a little bit more acceptable through, if you're doing it through Facebook Messenger or on Instagram or something. So there are like more of those off hours where you can maybe fit in, your real estate doesn't have to go in a 9 to 5. If, family time during the day, because you are caring for your mom, or you have another business. I mean, not everybody's doing real estate full time. And, you have to juggle it in with your, what might be another part-time or another full-time career. So and that's okay. It's about making sure that you're setting your goals, which, go along the SMART goals, and within there, making sure that they're realistic and attainable. And then setting those goals. And if you have to do your lead gen in 1 hour, because that's all that you can do, because you have so many things going on right now, family wise, other business wise, that's okay. That's okay. The one thing you want to be careful though is the extra stuff, like the taxes. Yep, I understand it's tax time. But you know what, as soon as tax time is over, then the next thing's going to come in, then the next thing's going to come in. So you just want to be careful that you're not letting those things always overrun your business. Yet things like caring for family, things like, another business that you are running, or another job that you have, like those are just part of your world, and you need to be able to build your real estate business around that. And there's some agents, in our market center who, who are extremely well producing agents, and they do it part-time. They have a full-time job. They're never leaving their full-time job. They do real estate part-time, and they've built their business over the years to where they are. They cap their commission every year. They've reached what monetary goals that they're setting into motion. It's just about, it's just about who you are, what else you have going on, and where you want to be, right? I don't care what your goals are. We don't care what your goals are. We just want you to hit them, right? We want to hit the goals that are true to you. Some agents, real estate is a second career for them, and they're happy to sell, 5, 6, 10 houses a year, and that's it, right? Others want to sell 50, 100 houses a year, right? It doesn't matter, write the goals down and then figure out your map to get there. The map's going to be different, but we still want to make sure that you're reaching them. Even if you want to sell 2 houses a year, I want to help you sell 2 houses a year, right? Maybe selling real estate is just for your vacation money. Great. Where do you want to go on vacation? That's your goal. Let's make sure that you can get there, right? Let's make sure that you're making enough money in real estate, so that way you can take your family on the vacation. Maybe your goal is that you want to get your children through college, right? This is like going to be their college money. Great. What does that need to be? What's the map that we need to do to get there? Let's work together and get you there. So yeah, you don't have to fit into, don't feel like you have to fit into one size fits all, because it doesn't, right?
Yeah, one thing that I can give an advice, because I've been doing for a little longer than they have, is when you meet with a buyer or seller, let them know what your schedule is, because I, in the beginning, was answering every text, any time of the day. And what happens is that they're hitting you up at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. So my coach was like, you know what, set the expectations. I work Sunday through Saturdays. I work Monday through Saturday. Sunday's my family time. We go to church, we do our thing. If I can fit, depending, an appointment for a showing or an open house, I will do so, but Sunday is my day for my family. So I do designate one day for my family, as well as we have to take care of a home as well. So, but it works, because now when I'm telling them, you know what, 7 o'clock is when I work from 9 to 7. Those are my hours. And they expect a phone call the next morning. I mean, I'm not, you just have to set that expectation when you first consult with them. Just let them know what your business hours are, because you are a business.
Exactly. I love that, Linda. And that is that is such a great nugget for all of us for today. And absolutely, there is, sometimes like we feel that as realtors, we need to be available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you deserve family time, you deserve your own time as well. And just set the expectations, right? Just set those expectations up front and honor them, and make sure that you honor them. A lot of agents will put in their showing instructions for a listing that, any request received after 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. will be responded to the following business day or the following day, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with shutting your computer. Take it from somebody who has learned that the hard way. And has had, has really had trouble learning that. It's taken me a very long time, but yet, when I get home and after dinner, I shut my computer and put it aside and, make sure that I'm spending some quality time with my husband. So definitely do that.
I thank you. This has been helpful. I think it's really about organizing first the family time and then around that, because I'm telling you, I have investors calling me at 10:30 to 11 because they have other things, and that's the time and if I don't answer the phone, they think I'm not caring. So I have to set an expectation. Sometimes I will answer, because if I know that a deal's about to fall through or something, I will do what has to get done. But man, the one time I didn't answer the call, I said, forget it. It's 11 o'clock. What are they doing? They got mad at me. So it's like it's almost like when you raise a child with bad habits, and now all of a sudden you're trying.
Right, here we are.
So I think it's about setting the expectations and being nice about it, because I try not to be rude, obviously. I try not to be rude, but it is. I appreciate everything, especially what Linda says. It's not just me. I mean, life is happening, and out of the blues, anything, you get the curveball. So.
Exactly.
All right, thank you, guys.
I would, say to my clients, I have started to say to my clients, because same thing, my phone would ring at 10 o'clock at night. And I mean, I honestly I go to bed at 9. I try to shut my computer down by 8. I'm usually in bed at 9. And so, but I started saying to clients,
goodness, you're so good. Oh my goodness. How do you do it?
I don't have any little ones at home. It's just really myself and my husband I have to worry about. We're pretty self-sufficient. But I started saying to clients, like, listen, I typically go to bed at 9, right? I go to bed at 9 o'clock. If I don't answer, I will not answer the phone after that. I will talk with you in the morning. And that's it. And that's kind of like, my way. And I should even be one further and say, listen, after 8 p.m., I will return your call the following business day, unless it's an emergency, right? But I usually do say, like, I go to bed at 9. So that way at 9 o'clock, they know I'm not answering the phone because I'm sleeping, right? So, but yet, you can say to somebody, listen, I honor my family time. And so I put my phone down at 8 o'clock. If you call me after 8, I will absolutely get back to you in the morning on the next morning, unless it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, text me, again, right? An emergency constitutes, the deal is about to fall apart at 8 o'clock at night, right? Nobody's going to die over real estate. I say that to our team all the time. Nobody's going to die. Okay. Nobody's going to die. It's like, it's okay. But if it is something like where a deal is about to fall apart and you're trying to piece things together, sometimes, you might have to step in and have that conversation, at a time that you would not normally want to. But yet, if you always have that hard cutoff and just use the words, listen, I typically go to bed at 9 p.m. That's it. Then there's no argument. Then it's not, oh, well, she's doing this at 9. I'm not important enough, right? Even though you don't need to make that explanation to people, because again, your family comes first. But yet, if you kind of give it in that hard way, who's gonna argue with it? Right? They don't need to know that at 9 o'clock you're just watching Netflix. They don't need to know that. That you're binge watching whatever series is on.
It's my time. I'm like, you know what? I finally finished everything.
Whatever you damn well please during that time.
10 o'clock. I'm sorry, that 9 o'clock, I'm just putting the kids to bed. And then it's
Sorry.
laundry time, and then it's everything else.
I'll take it back.
I'll get there.
Oh, I love that. Linda said, I love that. Linda said, I will answer as well with certain clients, but set expectations at the first, most will, and most will follow. Set auto text message when you finally stop working. Yes, absolutely. And, you know, and
you can
yeah.
do that with your phone. You can just generate your own little text message, and then, because majority of them are not calling you, they're texting you, because
Right.
you know, then you can let them know that an auto text sends them that you will get with them first thing in the morning. And it's a reminder for myself too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always need
Absolutely. Sometimes
reminders.
turn notifications off. If you have an iPhone, you have notifications on it that you can turn. If you go into sleep mode or whatever, you can turn them, do not disturb, and turn your notifications off. That's okay to do that. Do that during your lead gen time, right? If you are giving yourself some lead gen time, right? Not if you are, I'm talking about in the instances where you're really busy, you're trying to fit in that hour. But for all of us during lead gen time, turn your notifications off. Do not have your phone dinging at you every 3 minutes. Don't have your computer showing you every email that comes in your inbox, because that's how we get distracted super easy. And then we're like, oh, that person just emailed me back. I'm just going to run over there and see what they said really quick. I've been waiting for them to respond to me, right? So just turn it off. You can get to it at when lead gen time is over. You can go and check your emails and then see the email then, right? Text messages as well, right? And again, put the autoresponder on there, right? I'm in an appointment. I will return your message after 11:30, after 12 o'clock today, right? That way, if somebody is texting you and you feel like, oh, you don't want them to be like, oh, how come that person's not responding? Put a reminder on it. I'm in a meeting, right? Your meeting is your lead gen time. That's a meeting with yourself, and that you should hold that. That is what is going to propel your business. That's a very important meeting to make sure that you're upholding that. Anything else? Anything else on anybody's mind that you want to chat about with the group?
I have a question.
Sure.
And I had to drop off the class, so I'm sorry if this came up and you answered it already. But in the instance when you're talking to someone, and for example, I was speaking to a friend of mine at church the other night, and he and his fiance are getting ready to buy a house. And the conversation came up naturally, organically, like we would prefer. And he said that he had a real estate agent already. Now, obviously, we don't want to step on anyone's toes, and we always want to wish the best for them, especially if they're friends of ours. But what is your knee-jerk reaction? Like, what is your response once you hear that yourself, being in the field as much as you've been?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I mean, let's be real. Everybody knows at least 5 real estate agents, right? And a lot of times, depending on when you're having that conversation, they may already be talking to a realtor. And so in that instance, if somebody says, oh yeah, we're looking at a home, but we already have a realtor we're working with, so they may or may not tell you who it is. I usually will say, oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad that you're working with somebody. And I certainly would never step on anybody's toes. However, if you ever do need anything, I'm always here to answer questions. Please let me know how I can help. Right. There may be a time down the road that maybe their agent is not being responsive. There may be a time where they fall out of relationship with their realtor for one reason or another. And they may say, oh, you know what, maybe we should give Kevin a call, because he, right.
Gotcha.
And just say it in words like I certainly don't want to step on any toes. I wish you the best of luck. If you ever do need anything, however, I'm more than happy to help with love.
Gotcha. And you would be comfortable in that line of dialogue to also provide your information just in case they wanted to reach you.
Yeah, absolutely. And just say, here's my card. And again, just say, listen, and if you say it in words, is listen, I'm not trying to step on anybody's toes here.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Right. You can also ask for their information and just say, hey, right. And then maybe down the road, you ask. Some agents will say, oh, right. I mean, there's a couple different ways that agents will answer that. They may say like, oh, did you sign a buyer's agreement with that agent? I personally don't do that, because I I personally think that's a little aggressive. Right? Because there are agents sometimes who will say, oh, did you sign a buyer's agreement? Not all agents use those. Not that we shouldn't all use those, because we all should, yet there still are a lot of agents that are not using those, and you don't want to get in the habit of saying, oh, you didn't, well, you don't, well, you're not signed with them, so we can work together. You don't want to be that agent. That's just my personal opinion. So if you do it the other way and say, hey, listen, I don't want to step on anybody's toes, wishing you all the very best. Yet if you need something, please know I'm here to help. Also, for any mailers that you are sending out to people, to neighborhoods that we had talked about, et cetera, I always put a line on the bottom of it that says, if your home is listed with a brokerage, this is not a form of solicitation. Because you don't want another, if that person shares your mailer or whatever with their agent, you just don't want that agent coming back and saying the home is listed and you're not allowed to contact, you're not allowed to contact them. So, if you put that in there, then it kind of protects you, that you're just kind of sending out a marketing, and that you're not actually soliciting that person directly. Yeah, and that, we touched on this a little bit earlier too, that realtor to realtor relationships are they're very important. And so you just always want to make sure that you're honoring those, those relationships. And, as they say, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? You don't want somebody trying to come in and steal your clients from you and undermine you as an agent. So you don't want to be that person that's trying to do that, on the other side. And you hear stories about agents' practices in that. But just remember that, just to be fair and respectful to each other, because relationships matter. And you never know when you're going to be on the other side of that with that agent on a transaction. You never know when you're going to be putting in an offer on a place that agent might have a listing, and there might be 20 other offers on it, right? And you don't want to be the agent that is not in good relationship with them. Not that it should make a difference, but yet, you always want to make sure that you're upholding yourself, and maintaining those relationships as well. Anything else? You guys want to do a couple scripts? Did we find the script book?
You could just Google it.
I was looking for it.
I think, Rhonda, you keep freezing. Are you still there?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Yep.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Yeah. Let's see, where are they? Go to student resources. Let's see if is it in the toolkit? Is that where the script book? Here we go. The Spark script book. Let me just make a copy of this. All right. So I'm going to share this with you all. Here's the link to the script book. All right, let's just scroll through here. Let's see which one we want to do. So over on page 6, there is the remind them you're in real estate script. And I will share my screen so that way. Find it here. A lot of windows open. Can you see that? This is a great conversation, you know, for those contacts that maybe you haven't stayed in touch with in a while, right? And then we get in like that weird place where it's been a little too long and you don't want to call them because now it's been too long and now you feel like you should have stayed in touch with them and you didn't, and so then you don't want to call them, right? Has anybody been in that situation, or is that just me? Yeah, no? Yes, thank you, Kevin, for
Yes.
letting me know I'm not alone here. So this little script here, just to remind them that you're in real estate. Are you familiar, and maybe you may be familiar with this, just talking about it in Ignite, if you've done scripts in Ignite. Everybody's familiar with Ford, F-O-R-D?
Yes.
Yep. So Ford, you know, that is just, it's Ford, the F is for family, the O is for occupation, R is for recreation, and D is for dreams. And Ford is a great platform to practice even when you're posting on your social media. So you're not just every day posting, you know, real estate stuff, right? If you follow Ford, post about your family one day, post about real estate one day as your occupation, post about something you just enjoy doing, post about, you know, a dream, post, you know, a quote, something along the lines. That way you're not always just kind of like real estate. You want to be all encompassing. So using the Ford always makes every conversation, it makes conversation easy because you're making the conversation about the person that you're talking to. You're not, and you don't feel like you're just calling and asking for business, right? You're not calling and just being like, oh, hey, you know, it's Rhonda from Keller Williams Coast. Are you thinking of selling your house by any chance, right? You're going to get into the conversation and say, you know, hey, Ian, it's Rhonda from Keller Williams Coastal. How are you? I'm so sorry that I haven't been in touch lately and you've been on my mind. And I decided I wasn't going to let another day go by. I wanted to pick up the phone and see how you are doing. You know, how are you? How are your family? I hope everybody is healthy and feeling well, right? Let them answer, yo, that's awesome. That's great to hear. So how are things going? Are you still working at X or are you still in photography? I know last time we spoke, you were just launching a photography business. How is that going? Right? Like ask as many questions as possible. Right. So did you ever do that 5K that you were talking about? I know that you were gearing up to do that, or I know that you were heading off to California to visit family over Christmas. Were you able to get there? Right. So just talk about those things. And then, you know, we were talking about, and this is where you can bring it back to real estate. I know last time we spoke, you were thinking about, you know, buying that vacation home down in Florida. You know, where do you sit with that? You know, how are things going with that? Is there anything that I can assist with? Right. And then let them answer. And then this particular script, and you can take, that can actually be your whole script, right? And you can just listen and go off of that and say, hey, listen, you know, yeah, you know what, we really, we kind of got stalled on that because we kind of decided the kids need to get out of college first. So that's a little bit on hold, right? Typically they're going to then say, so how are things with you, right? What are you up to these days? It's for anybody that's new to real estate, this is a great opportunity to call people you know to let them know that you're in real estate. Great, I just launched my real estate business with Keller Williams, and you know, things are going great. You know, I'm building my business, and you know, I'm enjoying the process. And then I love the next line. This is like one of my favorite because it makes it, because people want to help you. You know, and in my first year, I've set my goal that I want to help 10 families, you know, buy, sell, or invest in real estate this year. And so, you know, I figured I would also, since I have you on the phone, right? Not that that's the only reason I called you, but since I have you on the phone, I figured I would love to ask if you are thinking buying, selling, or investing. If you are buying that home in Florida, I would love to refer you to a Keller Williams agent in my network. Right? Because if referrals are awesome too, right? Well, we're not thinking of buying, selling, or investing right now, but we'll keep you in mind. Awesome. You know what? I'm going to pop my business card in the mail to you. What is your address?
Do we get anything for referrals?
Mm-hmm.
We
Yes.
do.
Yes, you do. It's typically, it can be anything, but typically it's a 25%. That's usually the going rate, 25% referral fee, just for making that connection. Yeah, referrals are, there's a couple of agents who have really built an amazing business out of referrals for themselves.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. In Command, we do have, there's a referral tab in Command, the referral icon. If you're, have you seen that tab, Ian or anybody? Is everybody familiar with where the referral tab is? Do I have Command open? Let me go to Command here.
So
here,
with referrals, would you always suggest, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Would you always suggest having a buyer's agreement prior, or do you not need to do that with referrals?
No, you don't need to. Nope, you don't need to have you don't need to have the agreement with them if you're referring them off to somebody that's out of your area. Okay, so say in
get Zillow leads.
I'm sorry, what'd you say that again, Polly?
No, I'll let you finish.
Okay. Yeah, you do not have to have a buyer's agreement with somebody in order to give them a referral. You are simply just going to make that, you're going to make that connection for them to somebody in the referral network. And if you go into Command and you go on this little icon here that looks like a little face, that's the referral tab. So when you come in here, so these are just people that I've connected with over the course of, I have 162 agents in my referral network. So these are agents, some agents will come in here. So to answer your question, Ian, and they'll just come in here and they will go to the map. And so say, so kind of bring it out, right? So say they're looking in Florida. Say they're looking in Miami, right? So you can kind of hone in there. You can also put, right? So you can also kind of put a place in up here. You're able to search for people in your network already, right? So if I was looking for a referral for somebody that I've connected with at some point, I would first go under here to my network and say, okay, who's already in my network in South Beach? Okay, I don't have anybody in my, okay. So now I'm going to go just to in production agents. Okay, and then as you hone in on the map, I mean, there's tons, and this is going to change over here, right? It'll also tell you where their area is. So Vero Beach is actually pretty far from South Beach, but it's going to show you everything on the map. So if you want to get down to, where is South Beach? Down here. Am I going in the right direction? Jupiter, Juneau. There's West Palm. So the map is very interactive. Pompano Beach. There's Fort Lauderdale, Hollywood. Here, finally, we're in Miami. Okay, so in here, right? So now you can really zoom in. So here's South Beach right here. So you can kind of get all up close and personal in here. And those little bubbles are going to keep expanding, right? So at any point you can just click on one, and this is completely interactive. It's going to change. You can sort by random. You can sort by number of closed units. If this person is looking to buy, you might say, I'm going to sort. I want to know who sells the most real estate down there. And by doing that, it should change your, okay, so it is on buy sides. And then what you can do is you can click on the person. It'll open up their bio, tell you a little bit about them. It'll tell you how many units that they've closed. Okay, and it'll give you their contact information. So you can do it.
That like closed per year or like
Last
during their
12
life,
months.
like their Keller Williams career?
Yeah, so
Or-
it's only going to be Keller Williams. So if you transferred from another company, it's not going, you're going to start at 0 because it's pulling from the Keller Williams ecosystem. And I want to say, I want to say it's the last 12 months is what I believe it is. I could be wrong on that. But I want to say it could, I think it's, I'll have to find out. I'll have to ask Brooke Silva if this rolling is total or if it's in the last 12 months. And then you can reach out to them. So you can do it one of a couple ways. You can create a referral. See this button here? You can say new referral. You can select the agent that you want to select. So if I wanted to send it to Hudson, of course, it's not going to work. You should be able to, let's see. Oh, because it's looking for people in my network. Okay. So because they're not in your network, then you would have to do, I think, a broadcast or I'm sorry, maybe we're going to hit the big button there that says find agent. Maybe we're going to hit that button. So now if I click on Hudson, will that do anything for me to help my cause? Nope, that's going to still do that. Let me do this. Let's see. So I can send him an invitation to join my network there. Or maybe it's going to have me click. Okay. So, oh, if you do that as well, it's going to, so we're learning here together. You can tell I have not done this very often. I usually our team administrator does this. So if I click on him, is it going to just open his thing? All right, obviously we need a tech trainer here to show us how to do that. However, in clicking on here, you should be able to find the agent and pop them in here, and then you can send it to them. Typically, if I am doing it, is I will find the agent I want to send the referral to, and I typically will pick up the phone and call them and have a conversation with them and say, you know, hey, Carlos, it's Rhonda Messenborg, Keller Williams Coastal, one of my dear friends, or whomever, you know, they are actually looking to buy a condo in South Beach. I came across your profile. I would love to introduce you to have a conversation with them to see if you can move forward together. Does a 25% referral fee sound okay to you? Yeah, that's awesome. We would absolutely love to take care of your clients, take great care of them. You know, are you going to put it in command, put the referral? If you put it into command, you can track it. Some agents don't use it and say, can you just send me a referral form? Which if you need one, you can get one from your leadership team. Great, let's get the referral. If and when they close the business, you're going to get a 25% referral fee off of it. Right? It's awesome. You honestly make a phone call and you're going to get a check. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So, you know, definitely put that in there. So if you're talking to somebody, you know, if you're talking to one of your friends and they say, yeah, you know what, we are actually thinking of buying, but it's not around here. We're going to buy out in Utah. Awesome. Great. Right. Oh, tell me about that. Are you buying a ski house? That's amazing. I'd love to hear more about that. You know, if you're not already working with an agent, we have an amazing network of Keller Williams agents. Instead of you having to go out and find an agent yourself, why don't I put you in touch with somebody?
Yeah, that's really great. I didn't realize that we could capitalize on sales outside of whatever state we're licensed for. So that's awesome. I did not know that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of Facebook groups too. If you just go into Facebook and you do a search for Keller Williams referral, there's a lot of referral network groups that go both ways. And so sometimes, you know, somebody may say, hey, you know, I'm looking for a listing agent in Rhode Island, right? Raise your hand. That's me. I'm right here. Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. There's a lot of business that goes back and forth in those referral groups. Also, like off topic, and then you know, come right back to you. Profit share too. Profit share is not if somebody joins and names you as a sponsor in your state. You can, if you have somebody who says, I'm getting my real estate license, I live in California, great. You really should consider joining Keller Williams. Let me have my team leader reach out to the team leader of the town or that you live in, I'll find the closest market center. So that way you can have a conversation with them. We'll make that connection. Your profit share can also be with agents around the world, not just in your own market.
Can you interview the referral?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? The person that's going to buy in, say, Florida?
The listing realtor that you,
Absolutely. You don't have to make a blind connection. You can say, you can then go to your friend and say, listen, I talked to 3 agents, all of whom are very qualified and have done great business. I'm going to put you in touch. I'm going to send you the numbers of all 3 of them. So that way you can have a conversation and work with who you feel is the best fit for you.
super. So you can actually contact them and they're comfortable with getting interviewed on a small level.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell them about your, listen, they're good friends of mine. This is what they told me they're looking for, right? This is what they told me I connected somebody last week. She's the mother of one of my past clients who lives in California and wants to move either to Massachusetts or Rhode Island. I spoke with her and she's like, I'm going to be ready to do that probably in a year. I'm going to have to sell my home. Great. I'm like, have you already spoken to a real estate agent? She's like, no, not yet. And I said, great. Why don't I take that off your plate for you? Why don't I connect you with somebody right in your area who can give you, even though it's a year out, it's good to know what your market value is right now. So why don't I have them contact you and start the process of getting an analysis done? So that way, when you are ready to list, you already have that. Great. I called the agent, I picked out the agent, I called them, gave them the information, connected them, and then just kind of kept everybody in the loop. So absolutely. And that also just shows your value, right? That you're a connector. Same thing with vendor partners, right? Become the expert to your clients, right? Maybe in the conversation when you call them and you're checking in and maybe they say, yeah, you know what? We're in the middle of renovating our home. It's so hard to get contractors these days. My electrician has, blown me off 4 times. Oh God, that's awful. I'm really sorry to hear that. Do you want me to refer you to my electrician? I have a great electrician. He's awesome at answering phone calls and returning phone calls. How about if I send you his information? Great, right? Then the next time they need something, they're probably going to call you. Say, hey, Ian, do you know a plumber by chance? Yeah, I have a great plumber, right? So that's another way for you to network. It's another way for you to lead generate because I just got 2 referrals from my accountant last week, right? Those vendor partners, if you are in strong relationship with them, they are going to also be a source of referrals for you. And you also can be a source of getting them referrals and being that expert to your clients in all things real estate and home ownership.
And there's also a document on command that we have to provide for them to sign, right? When we have a referral, like I just did one with.
Like the paper, are you talking about the paper referral form? Oh, we lost you, Linda. We can't hear you.
I'm going to have to turn off. Thank you so much, Ron.
Hello?
We can hear you now, Linda.
What I was saying was with the referral, there's a form on command. Am I correct that we have to fill out and submit? So that way we are on paper that we're the referral. We gave them the referral.
You can do it either through command directly, or you can do the paper form. Yes.
Okay.
Check with your market center. Every market center is a little different. So check with your MCA to see if they require a piece of paper or if having it in command is okay.
No, having in command is what I'm saying. The document in commands, we have to make sure that we fill out the referral form to actually get a referral percentage for that referral.
Yeah.
And signed and from both agents.
Right. So if you, but you don't always need that. I don't know that you always need to upload that piece of paper. That's what you need to ask your MCA. But
Okay.
Sometimes you can just do it electronically through command as far as being in that referral tab, because they will accept, if you send them the referral, they will accept it. And so therefore it's in the system.
I want to I just want to definitely say the referral has worked for me. And the vendor situation, people know I renovate, people know I flip, they call me all the time. And then I've turned technicians into my clients. So people who do my floors, I ask them, are you buying? And one of the best referrals are actual loan officers. I have a loan officer, he'll always call me, which is great.
That's
So, you know,
awesome.
there's one I lost in touch with because I don't know what happened, but loan referrals are so amazing because those people already have a trusting relationship with that loan officer. So to have that is like, it feels so great. So definitely the vendors, I just want to second that it's just amazing. It's definitely worked for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Love that. Yeah, take a, go to lunch with, with there's like there's so many vendor partners out there. Go, take them to lunch, grab coffee in the morning, join I was actually in South Kingstown, Rhode Island, here talking with one of our agents, Ken Monroe, last night. And he was like, oh, he said, I'm off to go to one of the chamber networking events. And I was like, wow, that's awesome, right? Join the local chamber of commerce and go to your market center may belong, and that may get you into the events. You may not have to join individually, but go to their events. Sometimes they do like a morning coffee. Sometimes they do, once a month networking, at a restaurant. It's a great place to meet so many business people who may be clients, maybe looking to buy, sell, or invest, or become one of your vendor partners, right? I met sometimes you meet like a great attorney or a lender, or you meet somebody or an electrician, and you just sit and chat with them and get them in your world, get them in your and say, hey, listen, I'm a real estate agent in the area, and I'm talking with a lot of people every day. I would love some of your cards. Can I refer you? If I have somebody who's looking for a plumber, is it okay if I give them your card? They're going to say, yeah, that would be amazing. Great. And listen, if anybody in your role is looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, like, I'm your girl. Like, here's some of my cards. I would love the opportunity to help your clients. I will take great care of them. Right? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for business, because you offer a very valuable service, and our clients need us. They need us to help navigate them through the buying and selling process. So know your value. And don't be afraid to offer your services, right? Don't be afraid to offer your services. All right, well, okay, I said I was gonna get you out early. It's only 9 minutes early, but this was a great conversation, and I hope that you all found it to be valuable and help push your business forward a little bit today. If anybody has any questions, my contact information is there. Also lean on your leadership team. If you're in another market center, we're all, as leadership, we are here to help. We get up every day to serve all of you and to help you build your businesses. So I thank you. Thank you for coming to Ignite. This is such a great series. I did pop the YouTube channel. Anything that you've missed, jump on YouTube, watch it again. And anything you need, just let us know.
Thank you so much. This
Thank
was
you so
really
much.
good.
Thank you.
Pleasure. My pleasure. Hope you all have a great
Thank
day.
you. Enjoyed the class.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.